Is that the actual feed?
Yeah.
All right.
Is that the actual feed?
Oh, there you go.
There. Mic works?
Mic works. That looks about right. Oh snap! This camera makes me look thinner. Daddy likey.
That's why you like it.
That's why I asked for it.
All right. Shared it on the Facebooks.
Oh man, this is gonna be fun. I like all the episodes we do. Well, most of the episodes we do. But I always look forward to this one.
This one is always a favorite.
This one is my favorite. We'll wait for the show to start. You brought the right uniform for today.
Yeah.
Nice.
Some cowboy shit.
Is that foreshadowing for later on tonight?
Might be.
Today. Tonight, the sun's gonna start going down in a minute. I know we're gonna offend somebody that's not here by not including his picks with ours since he didn't come and watch the matches.
Yeah.
But that's what happens.
I like your shirt, Chris.
Yeah. Very. This is the logo of post COVID.
Very Bret Hardy.
Yeah.
Pink and black.
This pink?
That's pink.
Oh.
No doubt.
I'm gonna stop wearing it. I'm gonna gift it to you.
Oh, thank you.
One day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smells like booze and chicharrones.
Asparagus.
Ooh. All right. Are we ready?
Are we? I think so.
I think we're ready.
Yeah, we're ready.
Live from the landing strip in Houston, Texas. It is the HWR 2021 Year in Review special. This is Abel.
This is Chris.
This is Hector.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We very much appreciate it. Well, here we are on a Sunday afternoon, because we're doing our review for last year. I know we're about almost 3 weeks into 2022, but we haven't done our review of 2021.
Awful.
Yeah, almost more than two.
Okay,
two and a half.
Yeah. Okay,
two and a half.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said a little bit earlier, Chris, this is usually our favorite episode of the year, the one where we review everything that happened from the year previous. We also try to do it a little bit sooner than 2-3 weeks in, but schedule, COVID, whatever. We thought all four of us were going to be here, but freaking Arnold bailed last minute. So.
And after the show, you'll find out why it took Hector so long.
Yes.
It's a fun time in Mexico.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. If you're watching us live, go ahead and log into your YouTube account or your Google account, so that way I could see your opinions. You can chat along with us. You ask us questions, that kind of stuff. I'll involve you as best as I can in the show. If you're not watching this live, that's okay. We're still on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio. So there we go, guys. Are we ready to kick this pig? Are we going to do it? Ready?
Male of the year.
Oh, shit.
Hector! Who's your male of the year?
I don't know if it's obvious enough.
You're not showing a lot of cleavage.
I know. But for me, I would have to say Hangman.
Hangman?
Defend yourself to them.
Well, I don't know if it counts. If it can be counted, but the build-up for his story was 3 years in the making.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, the payoff of this year of the breaking up of the tag team, how it started the beginning of the year before that, and then it picked up with him being single and everything. Is honestly, he improved a lot more, looks a lot more confident, and
He's a total package now.
Yes.
Definitely.
Goes up to it. So that's why.
Do you concur?
No, I do not. And the reason being is because we're talking about male of the year, not male of the last quarter. When he won the AEW championship, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. It's all about Hangman. That was the right call to make. But up until before that match, I was still undecided as to whether or not they were ever going to give Hangman the go and whether or not they were actually going to end that 3-year storyline if they were going to cap it off because of the abusive relationship that I have with wrestling. I've been thinking that the guy that they're building, the guy that it should be, the guy that I want it to be, they're not going to give it to me. So up until then, I had cautious optimism for Hangman, but I was never all in.
Cool.
But I was all in with Kenny Omega. But again, Kenny Omega, I want to say, we're talking about male superstar of the year, not of the first 3 quarters of the year. So I kind of have, that little dichotomy there where it's either going to be Kenny, it's either going to be Hangman. Neither of them have a complete year in my mind. So who has been around all year that has been important, that has kept the IWC talking and buzzing and, this and that? And I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes.
What?
I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes has been relevant the entire year. Even when he's like away and injured or doing a TV show or something like that, everybody's had something to say about Cody at some point.
I'm not expecting that. It's not wrong. I'm cotton.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting to say that, but when I was thinking about this a couple of days ago, yes, I did actually put a little pre-thought into this.
Next time we see him, tattoo right
here.
He's definitely the Decepticon.
It's gonna be I heart Cody. That's what it's gonna be. But he's been in high-profile matches. He's
Hart, H-A-R-T.
Yes. He's been in high-profile matches the entire year. He's been loved and he's been hated the entire year. He's been polarized the entire year. Everybody's always talking about Cody. 2021 is defined by Cody, I would say. Love him or hate him, his name has been on your fucking lips the entire year.
Wow.
Arnold, what's up, man? He's in the live chat. What's up, Arnold? Thank you for joining us.
At least leave the beer at the doorstep. You had one job. Even if all of your picks were wrong, you had one job. That was supposed to be yours.
Arnold said that. Look. Arnold said in the live chat, well, he did single-handedly end racism. It's true. He did.
So regardless of your year explanation, I'm going to go with someone that
I'm poised.
Was... No, you got to lay out. Bend your ass a little bit.
2 count, 1, 2, look back at it, 3. Oh my God.
There might not be a lot of arch in the front fenders, but she makes it up in that rear bumper.
Oh my God. We're talking about male of the year, not female.
Hey man, 2022. Opening up.
Okay. All right. Can I hit thingy? Say your name.
Bryan Danielson. He main evented WrestleMania in the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And then in the end of the year, he's having matches with 16 different mofos and making all of them better.
Yeah. That's a good pick.
He had a great 30-minute match with Kenny. He had a great hour match with Hangman. WWE, again, the jaded fan in me, a part of me is like, man, if he holds the WWE title for a week, it's worth it. And then he drops it back to Roman to solidify that Roman's the one. Yeah. So, oh man, but it's against all hope, And dude, he's still in 2021, 2022, he's still blowing heads with what he can do. Bryan Danielson. He is blowing minds.
What?
He is
Crazy.
he's opening a lot of people's eyes that didn't think that he still had what he has in him right now. He's been killing it.
Yeah.
So he might have had that 90-day gap, which is a season, which is like a 3 months, but you can't say that for those 9 other months he was just doing nothing. It was fucking good. So my pick's Brian Danielson, Dan Bryan. How do you want to phrase it?
Now, hold on. I want to put a little bit of pause on this. Anybody that hasn't watched our year in review specials before, we're going to go through these categories. We're each going to give our opinion, and we're not going to come to a consensus. The only time that we're going to come to a consensus is when we're talking about our match of the year, and we have a fucking point system and everything. So right now, yeah, we're going to go down the line, give our opinions on who we think is so-and-so of the year, but then that's it. I'm not going to argue with Chris. I'm not going to argue with Hector, who it is. I mean, we can fight about it if you want. That's fun. But we're not gonna try to get to, hey, this is the one. So there you go.
Any honorable mentions?
Roman's definitely got to be an honorable mention. He has been on top all year long in WWE, and this has been on this third leg of his career where he's actually been appropriately booked. Not where we want him to be a face, but people boo him. He's a heel. People boo him as a heel, and we like that he's his work that he's doing. So yeah, Roman's been on been a good
One of us mentioned it earlier. He almost had the wrestling gauntlet at some point. Why is anyone not giving more love to Kenny Omega?
I wanted to.
But wasn't the argument always, when it comes to that, is oversaturation?
Not for me.
Because oversaturation. Were you watching any more AAA than you did before with Kenny as champ?
But Kenny wasn't really featured.
I did watch more Impact because of Kenny Omega. I did watch more Impact.
Did that water you down a little bit to him?
No.
Did it feel like oversaturation to you?
No, I kept wanting more. And I would have said instead of Cody, it would have been Kenny. If it was for the fact that the last quarter, he had to go away. Understandably, because he's injured and he needed to take some time off, but no peeps out of him. I kind of wished that he wouldn't have just completely gone away because BTE is such a big thing. And, the independent wrestling community, put their eyes on him, not because he had a full-on fucking career between when he left New Japan and when they were starting AEW, just by doing fucking shit online and goofing around with the rest of the elite and the rest of the Bullet Club. We haven't heard a peep from him since he's gone. So that's the only reason why I don't want to go that way. But no, it wasn't oversaturation for me. Him collecting the Infinity belts, fuck yeah. I wanted him to do that. I thought it was cool. And the AAA stuff, did I watch more AAA? No, I did watch one of the matches. With him in it.
I didn't watch his defenses though. Andrade and who else was it?
Hijo de Tauros, I think. Yeah, because he never defended against Vikingo. That's when he was hurt.
Right.
He didn't do it, but he did do the defense.
Did he do it against Laredo Kid too?
I think he did. Yeah.
At one point, I do remember Laredo Kid challenging him.
So, Arnold did say y'all wrong for not acknowledging the tribal chief. I guess that was his pick.
Okay.
But
he's not the head of my table, guys.
Ooh. Wow. But
this table's too small for him anyway.
Yeah. Also, for honorable mention, he says Sammy for conquering that Brazilian mountain.
How about Lashley?
That's an honorable-ish mention. Yeah, sure.
Half of the year before he got beat and everything else went to the shit. I liked him when he was with the Hurt Business. That was a great stable for him. But after that, honestly, it just didn't pick up for me. My attention for him.
Gosh.
What about Jericho? Honorable mention Superstar of the Year? No? Maybe? I mean, he's been relevant-ish.
But if you're talking about relevance, then that would be Darby Allin.
Yeah. Darby, MJF.
I think this year might be the year that MJF might climb up the ranks and be the middle of the year.
Okay.
The way his trajectory is going. It took the last couple months of 2021 to get up there.
They needed a mouthpiece for him.
Yeah.
And luckily, They found it.
Yeah.
Arnold says Big E for making all of us happy cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you disagree?
It is only half the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going by your standards.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to go by my standards. My standards are my standards.
Yeah. Low.
Yeah.
Ladies, who is your female of the year?
I think we might be able.
We might come to a consensus on this
Yes.
one, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say it. DMD. That's it.
Couldn't even say her full name, so we could have done it in unison. You selfish fuck.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. There you go. Man, as much as I want to go out and like talk about how better of a performer some of the other girls are, Thunder Rosa, Bianca Belair,
Mommy Cool.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of better wrestlers than Britt Baker, but Britt Baker's been the most consistently entertaining. I'm on board when Britt Baker's on my TV. And throughout all of 2021, I've always been like very interested in whatever she's got going on. And I'm not saying she's a bad wrestler by any means. She's just not the best in between the belts. Now she's had moments where she's like, oh shit, she can be a 10 if she wants to be in between the belts.
Yeah.
But she cruises at about an 8.5. when she phones it in, which sometimes she does, she's not terrible.
She's no Bret Hart.
But she's not amazing. She can be amazing when she wants to be, but she's not amazing all the time.
Well, it's always a two-person dance. So the fact that she doesn't have to have her opponent slow down to her speed, rather than Britt can keep up with whatever speed, whatever opponent.
Yeah.
She's had Hikaru Shida, she's had Thunder Rosa, she's had fucking Statlander, she's had Riho, and they're all different styles that she's been able to adapt to all of those styles, all the matches, and she again throughout the whole year. She had the hardcore match, and she was a match of the year candidate at one point this year. So that's saying something
For a good chunk of the year, yeah.
So
I mean, Thunder Rosa is an example of somebody that I would say is a better wrestler. Thunder Rosa is really good.
Wrestler.
Yeah, they're but Thunder Rosa, she's not my female superstar of the year because relevancy has been an issue with her, right? Because and it's not necessarily her fault, it's whoever's booking her. They haven't given her that moment, that hangman moment where she's more than just the contender, right? Where she's the champ, the woman, the man, the woman and the person that the spotlight's on,
That's my pick.
Britt Baker here.
Same here.
Do you guys have any other reasons besides all the shit we just said?
The consistency. It's one of those examples where you've watched her grow. Like when we say consistency, she's consistently learning because we saw her in that hardcore match in the beginning of in the first season of the year, and from where she was then to winning the title at Double or Nothing to becoming the champ she is right now, you can see that that's not the same Doc that we had in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they brought back that waiting room talk show segment that they did, but that was another outlet for her to get her creativity out and her sass out a little bit.
And that's when she was injured, so that still continued to the relevancy.
Yeah, even going before she was injured, we're going back in 2020, she was like really not that good. Like her ceiling at that point was an 8.5, and she would cruise at like about a 6.
Yeah.
But from 2020 to 2021, she's up that. So maybe in 2022 she'll be even better. Yeah. Robert, what's up, Medlin? He joined us in the live chat. He says, I want to say Bianca, but she's been booked horribly ever since SummerSlam, so I agree, DMD. Arnold also says Britt Baker in the live chat. So I think we've come to a consensus. So that being said, I want to address what Robert just said and Bianca. Man, Bianca is a great athlete, great performer in the ring.
She's an EST, fool!
Every time that I've seen her,
dead friend.
Yeah, every time that I've seen her wrestle, it's like, fuck, she's great. But I can't say that I've always been interested in her because, yeah, he says ever since SummerSlam she's been booked horribly. maybe even before that, man. After Mania, it's like okay, start going down. So I want to say Bianca, but again, this isn't necessarily her fault. It's whoever's booking her, like she's irrelevant.
And it's a higher power than that. No pun intended. Because you've openly admitted that you haven't been watching WWE for months, plural.
Is this like October?
If you like someone that much, you'll make the effort at least to look at her, to find her segments on DVR because you have one, and you haven't even done that.
No.
So it's telling a lot of how heavy the cinder block is tied underneath her leg that she just keeps sinking regardless of how much she's trying to pull herself her head above water.
Yeah.
That you're still not watching it. I haven't tried watching it. I didn't know she did some shit in that WrestleMania main event with Sasha. I don't even know if she still does it now because I haven't seen her perform in months. And she's obviously not in the title picture because they tried pushing Toni Storm and then she bounced. They tried pushing Sasha and then she got hurt. And now it's Charlotte again. Is that part of the problem? That it's just too much. The Arnold defense. Yahweh, no more Charlotte. You know? Is that part of the problem too? Or
yes.
Or what?
Well, even if
that's part of it.
They moved her to Raw because of that. So now
so she's on Raw.
She's against Becky, and then where's she at now?
Yeah.
So again, bad booking.
Arnold says she was supposed to have a barn burner with Bailey before Bailey tore her ACL.
Yeah, that final match. That Bailey had. They built up Bianca Bailey rivalry for a little bit, and then that final match, that blow off, she was done so.
Anybody else we want to give an honorable mention to?
Diana Peraza.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Honestly, if you want to, we made the argument before. Kenny Omega, belt collector. She was doing it with the women's division.
That's
She's
true.
still doing it now.
Yeah.
So now that she's Reina de Reinas and the ROH women's.
She's eyeing Mickey James.
She's eyeing Mickey James for that knockout.
Yeah.
Right now, their partnership with Impact, especially now that they're partnering up a little bit more with New Japan, that means Stardom goes into the mix. And her winning that title, imagine that.
Yeah.
You know.
Miami with Tommy, right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, if we're going to go that way, we have to mention Jordan Grace.
You want to mention her for another thing.
I mean, yes, but yeah, no.
Tag team of the year, Jordan Grace. Disappointment of the year, fuck it, Jordan Grace. Because she's not over here. Well, she's not over here.
No, but I mean.
But I saw her in person, and now I get it.
But seriously, though, I mean,
I swear, she bounced a good 2 feet off what she felt for that. Oh, baby.
Surprisingly, not Becky. Has Becky's return been a flop?
It's not that the return's been a. Oh, man, that's a loaded question.
There's no competition for her.
No, the booking started her off on the wrong foot by having her squash Bianca in 20 seconds. That was unfair to Bianca. That was unnecessary for her character.
Yeah.
I don't know what possessed somebody that said, "Oh man, Becky left at the highest of highs as a babyface. Let's bring her back as a bitch."
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
She hadn't even fleshed out the highest of highs yet. So for her to be where she is now, and it obviously didn't work because they were cheering for her between her and Charlotte at the Survivor Series slap fight that they had between the brands. Yeah. So obviously they want to cheer Becky, you know, and it just didn't. Literally, she has the same Steve Austin trajectory. They turned Steve heel out of nowhere for no apparent reason, and 3 or 4 months in, they're already cheering for him again. So I don't know. But just Becky, and again, that's half year. I would, if anything, I'd put as a high honorable mention Raquel Gonzalez because she was fair. One of the main things that was keeping that NXT black and gold brand up, even after the 2.0 stink started sticking to your clothes. Like Raquel was still making you want to watch it, and her matches with the young ones are pretty good too. And she actually made Mandy Rose look really good when she dropped the belt, you know. So
Robert Midland says, I think he means Raquel, but he said Reina Gonzalez. On the list or something named Reina Gonzalez.
That's her.
Okay.
It was Reina before she did.
Oh, okay. She deserves a mention, but Piper, aka Dewdrop, could have easily been a star, but Vince.
maybe this year's the year.
Maybe.
She's going up against Becky at the Rumble.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Yes.
Okay.
Tag team. Oh, yeah, with the same response. What the fuck is that?
It's hard, man. That was harder.
I don't want to go with the obvious.
What's obvious? Because honestly, I don't think it's obvious. The Lucha Bros?
They've been consistent.
They've been consistent.
But
Last
I
match
will-
of the year for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
I would go.
Do you change your channel when they're on?
No. Hell no.
That reaction.
Hell no.
That reaction is pretty much why.
Okay.
I'll be the opposite.
They've only lost once this year, right? Or they haven't lost at all in 2021.
Yeah. No. No.
Against FTR. FTR, the Spanish titles.
Oh,
the Mexican
yeah.
title. So they that one
Triple A,
loss. Yeah, Triple A.
yeah.
I'll go opposite. And I'll go across the pond.
Oh?
I know where he's going.
Tai Chi
Consistent.
and Zack
Zack
Sabre.
Sabre.
All right. You're gonna have to explain
Teach
that one a
this
little
one.
bit more.
Teach
Yeah,
this
teach
one.
me something.
So basically, they've been. If you want to talk about consistency, their stories have been built up great together. You have the technical wrestler, and then you have the aspiring singer. But at the same time, he's been building up a lot throughout the G1s as a single competitor. He's been becoming more methodical.
That kickboxing match with Ibushi
Yes.
last year, was it? Oh.
The G1, that was amazing.
That was his coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they held the championship throughout the whole year, and I think it was the last quarter of the year prior is when they got him, and they held it and they lost it until Wrestle Kingdom of this year. So tag team wise, you know how New Japan likes to depend on Guerrillas of Destiny,
Yeah.
or you have,
Established teams, not WWE style teams.
and they weren't. Whoever they fought, they adapted to each tag team style and they made it better, and they beat them at their own game. So that's why I was like, okay, consistency and the way they held everything down, I gotta give them their props.
Don't they have their own
Man.
name, like the Trekkers or something?
The Dangerous Checkers?
The Danish Trekkers?
Yeah.
Man, that sounds amazing if I would have watched it. No, I believe you, and that sounds like that ticks all the definitions that I would like to say. Somebody that's been dominant and consistent throughout the whole year, but bare shits in the woods and no one's there to sniff it. So I'm kind of wanting to lean towards what you said and go with the Lucha Bros, because my knee-jerk reaction is, oh well, I guess the New Day, but I guess the Usos, but
That's your ultimate
Yeah.
definition of a tag team. So
Yeah,
you lead to those two first.
well, yeah,
And you just finish watching one of their matches.
and each one of those butts is the same for both of them, which is, but they kind of went in and out of being tags throughout the year. They had their singles runs and their single storylines, the bloodline shit with the Usos, and then Xavier going and becoming king of the ring, and Kofi still is a former world champ, but now he's okay with being the what is he, the sire, the lord of the king, or whatever, the right hand of the king. Is like, oh, okay, I mean that's cool, but like that's not tag team focused. But then they're still teaming and fighting against,
And then they keep getting hurt.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know if I want to say that they're of the year. The interesting one that Arnold put in the live chat, besides the Lucha Bros, because he said Lucha Bros, was MSK. What about MSK? NXT Tag Champs for a better part of the year.
I will see your MSK,
Uh-huh.
and through storyline, I will raise you. I can't believe I'm saying this. Randy Orton and Matt Riddle.
Okay.
Matt Riddle made Randy Orton probably the most entertaining he's been maybe since Legend Killer.
Yeah.
He's getting Randy Orton out of his comfort zone and making him do things that we've never seen Randy Orton do unless you watch his YouTube or Instagram RKOing his kids in the pool. Shit like that humanizes him. Instead of having
that wig.
Yes, and the jacket doing the interviews, and Orton's just like, no,
Get this off of me.
and then Orton finally going along and writing on Riddle's hand when they lost the belts to Alpha Academy. Is like, when you ever need help, tag in Randy, right? Like actually, you can see them finally playing off each other, and that whole 2021, man, you can see Orton just like no-selling half the shit Riddle was doing, and then him on the scooter.
You know what it reminded me of?
Man.
The Rock and Sock Connection.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
exactly
okay.
what that reminded me of. And they weren't, it was great in the fact that they didn't try to copy whatever Rock and Mick Foley did. It was Riddle and his character doing things in his way, and Orton just being, and eventually breaking him into actually having some facial, some expression, some, hey, that guy, I relate to that guy. God damn, I can't stand this idiot Riddle either. You know, shit like that. And that slow burn through that whole year until they finally won the titles and the light bulb went off. Orton got it. That's what makes him work. I'm gonna make it to where that we make it work. So if it's not Lucha Bros, something out of the box, I'd definitely go with Arcade.
So no love for Jungle Express?
You mean Jurassic Express?
Jungle Express. Jurassic Express?
No, you mean Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Because Marco Stunt's nowhere to be found, and all of a sudden they have a Christian.
He grew up and went to his home planet.
Yeah. But no love? No?
Not right now.
No? Okay. All right. All right.
They hadn't held any titles until like last week.
True.
So this year might be their year.
Arnold in Elijah says, I've never been upset about a Randy Orton loss until last week.
If you break Arnold like that, you know you're going the right direction.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with your original answer for my answer, as in the Lucha Bros. When they're on TV, I'm putting down my phone. I'm watching the Lucha Bros.
Okay, this is gonna be fun.
All right, what's the next category?
Feud of the year.
Feud of the year.
Or rivalry of the year.
Rivalry.
I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Right.
I'm gonna just get it over with.
Oh, no.
My favorite feud of the year is Miro versus God.
Oh
man. Change my mind.
Miro versus God. Well, first off,
Because it took the whole year building Miro being God's favorite wrestler. And then when he lost the belt, like, wait, now you went heel on me, motherfucker? Do you know what I sleep with?
I was about to say, technically that feud wasn't a whole year.
The build was the whole year.
They were a tag team for about half a year.
But that split, man, that hurt.
I go on the turn.
I had to read my Bible last night. I stopped at like 2 Corinthians. I was like, all in at that point. Like, oh.
Is that
I almost felt like Joe.
Is that your answer? Is that your serious answer?
It's not. It's my contender.
Okay.
Guy could have been like, hey, I'm on to you until this part because you're facing the Spanish one right now.
Oh yeah. I'm out.
Yeah. And he turns around and goes like this. Respectalo. Give me a pick. Rivalry of the year.
God damn it. Kenny and Hangman. Like, I kind of, well, the reason why I'm very hesitant to say it is because
you don't want to come off very AEW heavy because that's what you've been watching for the most part this year consistently.
That too. But the other thing is, just one fucking match. You know, like, you can't really have a rivalry be a one match. You know?
No, it wasn't a one match.
This year it was.
Tag match 5-on-5, Dark Order against the Elite.
5-on-5 though.
And then Hangman against the Elite for a little bit. It does, to that point though, it does explain why the Hangman title run so far feels incomplete. He never really, other than obviously he beat Omega. The story's been built up since the first match of AEW history where Hangman lost in the main event to Jericho. The build is there, but other than Omega, in this run to the title, who did he beat? 2021, the fucker lost to Brian Cage and knocked him back down in the rankings. He came back in that ladder match and he was the bee's knees. Everyone shat over that in a good way. He won the fucking match. But then what? Did we get Moxley versus Hangman?
No.
Hangman didn't defend the poker chip? Did we get Andrade Alidolo against any contenders that Hangman beat up to the point that he beat Kenny? I mean, it's okay that AEW rode very strongly, mostly on the story. of Hangman's redemption towards the
And
title.
that's
But
okay.
where's the credibility in his championship that he hasn't beaten anybody?
okay.
In 2021.
I don't think that is lacking credibility. The thing is, this suffers from my nitpickiness on what the category is. Because the category is Feud of the Year, not Storyline of the Year. Feud of the Year includes matches where it's one guy versus this guy, and the matches, a series of matches make a feud. I think there's a lot of story with Hangman becoming champ and having this story going on with the Elite, the Bucks, Kenny, all of them, and then the alcoholism and him hanging out with the Dark Order. There's an awful lot of stories accumulated in this match that is part of a feud, but just stripped out all the other shit. Is it just a feud? No, not really. Like there's a feud with him and all of the Elite, but it's not just him versus Kenny. So that's why I'm very hesitant to say it. I still think that's what I'm gonna say because I can't really think of another.
It sounds like your rivalry is Hangman versus Hangman in becoming the champ.
Okay, but do we have a category of storyline of the year? Because if we do,
I got the same thing.
I gotta save it for that. Well, is it the same thing? Is a feud and storyline the same thing?
I got a feud that kind of it got me entertained.
Okay, what is it?
Jericho versus MJF.
Ooh.
That's exactly what Arnold said in the live chat.
Storytelling, the stages of Jericho wanted a piece of MJF.
The labors of Jericho.
Exactly. Take them all through the history of Jericho. Basically, you're a high flyer, movie. You want to think you're the painmaker?
Nick Gage.
Nick Gage. Who was it? Then you had Wardlow, and
Who did he get from way back?
Oh, Juventud Guerrera.
Yeah, it was
the
high flyer.
Yeah.
I forgot who was the first stage, so I don't know if it was the chairman.
I think it was Sean Spears.
And then the last stage it was MJF, and he ended up losing.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And then they did the comeback at Stadium Stampede, right? Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good.
That would be like.
And then Blood and Guts too.
Yeah,
So they had a lot between them two. Yeah, that's a good pick. That could be my pick. Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. That's been good. Fucking year, man. And it's been good. And if you fast forward, you miss it. But those backstage promos, back and forth, that was like as good a feud as the title for the women's, if not better than the title for the women's right now with those two going back and forth.
What about Roman and Brock?
I would one up you on that one. I want to say Roman and one of the Usos when the other one was injured.
Oh, Jay?
Yeah. I like their storyline of him not.
Was that this year? I thought that was 2020.
But didn't it go into the part of this year?
Just in the beginning, but by WrestleMania, they were all on the same team.
Yeah, because the Hell in a Cell match was last October.
Yeah.
Not October of 2020, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything melts together, man.
Wrestling versus COVID. Responding to people dropping like flies if they can't test positive, they can't.
The fan versus Cody.
Yeah. Oh
yeah. Yeah.
Vince versus Double H.
Cody versus racism. He defeated racism.
Rising star for the ladies division.
Rising star of the year. Damn, this one's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really say Statlander because she had a blip and then fell off the face of the earth. I mean, can you say Bianca? I think Bianca was a rising star of 2020, not 2021.
I've got two right off the top.
Okay, please help me.
I still don't understand how we got here, but I woke up one morning and Liv Morgan was like the shit. Everyone was cheering this poor girl, and not that I'm hating it. I like Liv Morgan a lot.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand what it could. It wasn't anything booking wise. It was just one day everybody was like everybody was on the same Reddit page. It's like we're all gonna cheer Liv Morgan from here on out. Like all right, and she's been like fucking. She's ladder match Money in the Bank. Her singles run. she had a singles match with somebody in SummerSlam, I think, or the pay-per-view after SummerSlam. But Liv Morgan's been like her stock's rising. And the other obvious one, I mean, is Jay Cargill.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, where Jay
God, hot damn! Yeah, how could I forget?
Where Jade was in the beginning of last year, that bitch champion now. Okay,
yeah, Jade. Why the fuck didn't I think of Jade?
She teamed with Shaq. Ooh.
I know. Yeah, she showed up and like
she carried the weight of Shaq in that tag match,
and she dominated in that tournament. Yeah. Jade, fuck, I can't believe I fucking missed it. Yeah, that's my answer, Jade.
Now she's the host champion.
They really gotta go back to that old school TBS logo because I can't unsee it. Area code.
If you watched her documentary on the network, that explains it. Who are you talking about, Arnold?
Morgan.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, Hector, who do you got?
Jay Cargill.
Jay Cargill. Okay.
How about the fellas?
Rising star for the fellas?
I'm in between two.
Okay.
Get it out.
I got Sammy Guevara.
See, that was my knee jerk. I wanted to say Sammy, but I feel like he's been established before 2021. Like he's risen before 2021.
Yeah, but he was more of the aspect of the inner circle.
Okay.
And this past year is more of the singles competition.
Okay.
With the inner circle in the background, just in case.
Yes.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, when have they come out? Other than if it was against what's it called? The MMA team.
America's Top Team.
That was it. That was the only time that they got involved. But other than that, throughout the whole part of the year, it's singles competition for him.
I got one. I'm kind of mad at myself for saying this. Ron Breakker. I'm kind of mad for saying this. But
why are you mad at saying this? Tell the audience.
I want to not like him because one, he's a Steiner, and two, he is the face of the death of NXT, of NXT 2.0. Like
the birth of NXT 2.0.
The death of old NXT and the birth of its replacement, its bastard child replacement. The
Black RoboCop.
Yeah, the fucking fake diesel that is NXT, right?
Somebody had to watch Prime Directives. I know one of y'all watch Prime Directives.
So, man, so yeah, but he's actually pretty good, and it's not his fault.
Abel versus COVID.
WrestleMania 2020. Yes, I won.
COVID tested positive for a double dose of Abel.
But he's done real good. He had a legitimate debut this year and won a world championship legitimately this year. So if you want to talk about rising star, that's a rising star. My knee jerk, I wanted to say the same thing that he said. Sammy. Also in the live chat, Arnold saying Darby or MJF. Right? And I don't want to say that those guys are rising stars for 2021. They might be more rising stars in 2020. Not necessarily this year.
Has anyone said your other pick for 2021? Who's that too?
Oh, I doubt y'all are gonna say it.
Okay, what is it? I'm gonna say my pick.
Okay.
Because there is somebody from AEW that has legitimately earned my respect in 2021 and has gone nothing but up.
I think I might have an idea of who you're talking about.
Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston. His promos, his story on the Player Tribune, his promo with Punk. He got a fucking pay-per-view match with Punk, you know? And then him making 2.0 and Daniel Garcia look like threats.
Daniel Garcia's a rising star too.
Daniel Garcia, I think if you haven't seen any of his stuff on the independents, you're getting like 75% of what DG can really do. Mm-hmm. You put Daniel Garcia up against Bryan Danielson on Dynamite, y'all eyes will be open. The new religion will be found.
Consider Daniel Garcia the American version of Zack Sabre Jr.
Okay. Yeah,
that's who he is.
A lot less attitude, a lot more like angry facial expressions. Yes. He looks like he's always angry.
So who's your second pick?
Going back to across the pond, Taichi.
Yeah.
Just because of the build up when he was competing singles, especially New Japan Cup and then G1.
He's always been second
Yes.
in anything that he's involved in.
He would be
these tag teams making him feel like he's on his,
Yeah.
he's holding his own. He doesn't have to ride anybody's coattails.
He reminds me of what Sonata used to be when he was in tag team with Evil.
Yeah.
And now Sonata's slowly being pushed and he's slowly getting confidence. He's doing basically the Hangman story, but instead of 3 years, he's been doing it for the past 6.
And he's got about 1 or 2 more before he actually wins that
Yes.
belt that everyone gets hurt from.
Yeah. And then now that you made me think about Eddie Kingston, if you want to talk about rising stars or somebody that I've been fucking entertained every time I see him, Dante Martin.
Oh
Yeah.
Ever since I think he had a match in the Houston show here, right? That caught my attention with him, and then I started seeing all the build-ups with him, and then the feud he has right now with Team Taz. I was like, all right, you get the speed, you get the muscle against muscle. All right, you're gonna see the typical story, but at the same time, he makes it look so easy. I'm like, all right.
It sucks to say his brother's injury is the best thing that happened to him.
Yeah.
The only way the brother will ever catch up to him is if Team Taz signs him and they have them feud each other to try to bring the brother up to his level. Because right now, I don't even know I can't even remember what his brother looks like. Dante is like the top flight, not a part of the team.
And it sucks that this whole thing with like Leo Rush just kind of got swept under the rug. It was like, oh, we're gonna steal him from Leo and put him in Team Taz. Cool. That means now Taz and Leo have a feud.
Or Leo and Dante.
Yeah, and now
that was all a ruse.
It's a ruse.
But they didn't really follow up with it.
Exactly.
Except last week, Powerhouse. Nike again, but they didn't do anything after that.
But there's still no Leo.
Came out. So it's like where's Rush?
Yeah. And so you switch Leo with Lethal? Okay. Poor Leo. Leo Rush can't catch a fucking break.
But Lethal, former heavyweight champion, Ring of Honor, and you're doing what in AEW? That's the problem with AEW right now. There's so many main event talent that seeing any of them doing anything other than main event is jarring at first, if not straight up like, ugh.
Yeah. I got one more rising star, and I'm not sure how well this is actually going to be received, but I'm going to say
Short and Grace.
Danhausen. Danhausen, without being fucking signed to a major company, is just as over as anybody in AEW right now, just because of the fucking shenanigans online. You know, fucking videos and tweets and stupid shit. Like, he got fucking Billy Gunn's kids over by calling them the ass boys. Like, he hasn't even been in any relevant matches in 2021. Yeah, he's still fucking over. He's the most over guy in AEW that isn't signed to AEW.
You mean in ANW?
Well, he is signed to ANW. Yes. Yeah.
No, the one with him recently, he did a video with him and CM Punk.
I saw that.
Punk over the GTS. He's like, all right, you know, I already did it so many times, and Punk has to give him like $100 for that right there. He's like, all right, well, here's for this Wednesday, and I'm gonna do it next Wednesday, and we're gonna do it the Wednesday after that. And then when he's like, after he gives them all the money, he's like, you know, the FTR boys tell me that whenever I get better, I can find myself a tag team partner.
Whenever his leg isn't cursed anymore.
Yeah. And then he goes like, we could tag team together. I don't know, we could call ourselves the GTS boys or something. And CM Punk followed it and was like, I don't even know who you are. Like, you know who I am. I'm not how I'm like, all right, I'm over it.
And you're
this
Pepsi
guy.
Man.
Yeah.
So Arnold says, so Danhausen is 2021 Zack Ryder.
Oh, don't do that.
No.
That's not a label that I want to associate with him because that would completely turn me off of whatever the fuck a Danhausen is.
Yeah.
I still don't know what a Danhausen is.
For the thing that Jim Cornette loves Danhausen, and he hasn't seen a title match at all. He hasn't even seen him wrestle, and he says it. I don't want to see him wrestle because right now I don't want him to taint whatever I think about it because he's great in promos. He's a storyteller.
You put Being the Elite as a 30-minute television show to replace Rampage on Friday, and you have Danhausen on it, that'll get as much ratings as Rampage does now. They need that fourth wall breaking,
damn.
all like
They
having
have
the
to.
characters out of their element and doing other stuff to make them relatable to people like casual audience.
They absolutely have to have a segment on Being the Elite where Danhausen is at an A&W flipping burgers. Like, oh my God, that has to happen.
No. So you want to know the reason why Danhausen did that with AEW? Is because he did an interview with Jericho a while back, and they were going through I think Jericho has like this game about pick a number, and then they go into the book of Jericho and go through the number, and that's the match he did and everything. And Danhausen picked, of course, 666 or something like that.
Of course.
And Jericho read the thing, and he's like, "Oh, this is the day that one promoter paid me with A&W." And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, they gave me my money, and then they didn't have enough to pay up, so they gave me a case of A&W." And some of the people there were from A&W, and they liked the way I wrestled, so they wanted to sponsor me. So now I have this lifetime supply at A&W. And you can see Jericho turn the camera, and you see the A&W cases there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's kind of like what led into that house in A&W. And he's like, oh, well, sometimes if you don't have money to pay the rent, just paying with A&W cases, right? And Jericho's like, yeah, you know what? I don't have money for you, but here's an A&W case. So yeah, that's what kind of led into that.
Danhausen wants human money. So that won't work. Great. God damn. Okay, that was a fun category. What's our next category?
Oh my God, moment of the year. I wonder what you're gonna pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't. Yeah. It's too obvious. It's so obvious I didn't even really come the first thing that came to my mind. But yeah, CM Punk showing up in AEW. My God, holy shit, Punk is back.
I'll go. For me, it'll be behind the scenes.
Okay.
The fact that WWE's dropped the ball with Aleister Black's contract.
Oh, the 30 days instead of the 90 days?
Yes.
Save that for disappointment of the year.
Oh, we have disappointment of the year coming.
Well, I don't know. Are you disappointed about it or are you happy about it? Because that means you can debut sooner.
I'm happy about it because, the restriction is out,
I have two odd ones because I feel like there's some obvious ones.
Yeah.
So I want to go out the box a little bit. One that legitimately surprised me, where I was literally yelling at the TV when I saw it happen. Moose cashing in on fucking Josh Alexander when his wife and kid are still in the fucking ring.
Yes.
And beats him for the goddamn title, Impact World title. Holy dog shit.
Wow.
Dude, I was wired for like 3 hours. I didn't sleep till like 2 in the morning on Monday morning. Because I was like, did that just fucking happen? That's how you get people's emotions. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You think your daddy's a hero?
Oh, villain, fucker.
3 minutes. Not even 3 minutes to do his chant. And fuck.
Did that bring you back memories of when Bryan won the title and then Triple H turned on him?
Yeah. It did. Yeah.
Arnold says Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson were more oh my God. Maybe they were more surprising because people knew that the CM Punk thing was coming. The Danielson and Cole on the same day, that was like, oh shit, really? So I think it was more surprising.
But it was expected from Cole.
The climate right now in 2021 is that any talent that WWE deems a waste, AEW will find a way to make it work. So whenever someone's contract is up, they're already we're expecting Gargano in like a week in Cleveland.
Right? To be fair,
so
they haven't done that with the Fiend and they haven't done that with Strowman yet.
To be fair, Fiend's in Hollywood and Strowman's in ROH.
There you go.
Was in ROH.
Yeah. I mean, you can't say that about every WWE release.
The other one I have that was an oh my God moment for me, the return of Shibata.
Oh yeah, Shibata's back.
The fact that he had a wrestling match with Zack Sabre Jr. and it was fucking amazing. I liked it.
Yeah,
it was something
that exhibition,
a different taste for me, and I liked it.
Yeah.
And then it falls into this year, but what he did this year of returning and then
that Wrestle Kingdom was like, dude, Shibata runs on his own fucking clock. He just walks in the ring, no one's expecting him. He grabs a match, he grabs a mic. I'm coming back. And drops the mic and he's gone. And he comes back, does a little exhibition, and then he goes to the Wrestle Kingdom. He has a 5-minute thing set up. He grabs the mic. Nah, this is a match. Drops the mic. The ref's like, what? And the announcer's like, what? And the crowd's like, because they can't make any reaction, so they're all like, Shibata beat the shit out of that young lion.
And that young lion held his own in there.
I liked it. I'm gonna just say it. He looked like a Shibata that you order from Wish. Other than that, the kid was good. The kid was very good.
I'm gonna beat your witch ass.
Oh, man. But that leaves a lot of doors open.
How about? Oh, I'm sorry.
You know how Gresham and this other kid are starting Terminus?
Yes.
You know about Terminus? It's like straight up catches, like Roman Greco catch can, no disqualification. Hardcore stuff doesn't count. You get 3 rope breaks and all that other stuff or whatever.
Think about it as a pure rules.
Okay.
Cranked up to 11.
Yes.
I want Shibata and fucking Gresham. Like
yeah,
now.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Give me Shibata Bryan.
Give me Gresham Bryan. Shit.
We said it earlier. Give me Shibata and Kenta main eventing summer, you know?
So this might go into disappointment of the year, but also still, oh my God, the announcement that ROH is going under.
Hiatus. They're returning.
Yeah.
When the news first broke, the news was they gone, bitch.
Yeah.
But then it took a week for them to be like, well, we're not really gone, but we're
About
gonna be like, you haven't pulled the plug yet, but I'm on the ventilator, you know, like, yeah. But they like, it was pretty big news. It was very surprising, very shocking.
Oh man, oh my God moment. Tugged at my heartstrings a little bit because again, AEW is my primary source of pro wrestling right now, and I enjoy most of what they put out. So I have investment into a lot of these storylines. At the brink of the Dark Order collapsing, -1 with the papers comes out and brings the team back together with his mom and everything, and they're all back to normal. And that was before Hangman won the belt.
Yeah.
This was still going on.
That was when Hangman lost the whole
that #1 contender, that 5-on-5.
Yeah, he lost his opportunity,
and
he
Dark
lost
Order.
the Dark Order's
And
opportunity.
it started crumbling from there.
Yeah.
And then when the kid came out, I was like, oh, got me. Kid.
Yeah.
This might be pretty simple. Promo of the year.
Anything MJF.
I had to be more specific. The promo that MJF fucked in?
Well, he did talk about a lot of people.
MJF Punk.
Yeah.
The second one. Not the first one where Punk just laughed at him and dropped the mic.
Yeah, the one where they actually
The second one where they actually spoke to each other.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, was there any that were better than that? Or at least on the same par? Because I remember thinking, wow, this was really good, but I wish it could have been more.
Kingston Punk. The promo where Kingston got the crowd to turn on Punk.
Yeah, for just a day. For a day, people were booing CM Punk.
You say it all the time as a wrestling fan. When there's things that you don't agree with, sometimes you just need that one promo or that 30-second explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboy shit after he won the ladder match and saying cowboy shit is leaving at your prime to see the birth of your kid. Mm-hmm. That's all I needed. And that whole thing from the storyline aspect solidified. This is the next guy. Mm-hmm. This is your winner. If they don't give him the fucking title at Full Gear, they tell these fans they're gonna burn that fucking building to the ground. That promo from Hangman really put him as a main event star at that point.
What about the oh shit, I already forgot his name. The guy that's in charge of Top Team, the old man.
Dan Lambert?
Yeah, what about Dan Lambert, his second one where he's just like, only reason why I'm over here talking about Cody Rhodes is because Tony Khan thinks that they're gonna cheer him because they're booing me. Like, and like, he just kept going on in that same fucking tirade. That was pretty damn good.
Him against Jericho. The only reason why people hear your music is because it's something you think you're better or something like that. He talks shit about Fozzy basically.
Yeah. The coronation ceremony with Woods and Kofi, where he makes Kofi the second in command. That one was pretty good too. It was silly, but it was cool.
The first match with Roman and Brock, and the Roman signs the contract, and Brock just grabs and signs it. Roman goes, "You some big moron, aren't you? Some big dumb farmer. You just gonna sign the contract without reading it? What the fuck's wrong with you?" Just Roman in that moment is a split second as himself, and then Brock goes, I already read this contract early this morning with my advocate Paul Heyman. Roman was just like stone cool face at that. I laughed at my ass off when I saw that.
Arnold says the Edge promo before he did the Brood intro. Yeah.
I don't remember.
What, before WrestleMania, where he
SummerSlam.
willed his title match into existence, where he thought it to fruition, or I forget what the exact wording was.
Before the Brood thing, so that was around SummerSlam.
No, closer to
Oh, with Rollins, right?
Yeah, with
Rollins. I don't remember. It must not have been that good then.
He said, yeah, before SummerSlam. Okay.
Disappointment of the year. I know there's a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean,
shot.
ROH. The news that ROH may or may not be going under, but they're ceasing operations in the way they are now. I mean, I know.
Bigger disappointment in the depth of the black and gold NXT?
I was going to say that.
No.
Because how long, in the last 5 years, how much have you been watching Ring of Honor?
Not that much.
What is your investment in Ring of Honor as opposed to black and gold NXT?
It was minimal.
So what's the bigger disappointment? Death of Ring of Honor, or life support of Ring of Honor, or the death of black and gold?
You know what? You convinced me. The death of the black and gold NXT.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It might come out of nowhere to some people. Y'all might not even remember this.
Mm-hmm.
The way Roman beat Demon Finn at Extreme Rules.
Oh.
I remember that. Finn had the convulsions with the lights going on and off, and then he got on the top rope, and that top turnbuckle broke, and Finn just fell.
Yeah.
And Roman hit him with that spear. Oh, that's some of the most awful booking.
Ooh, Arnold says Big E's title run.
That is the same shit that I said the year before. Was it the year before that, or or the 2 years before that, with the Kofi run? That's how I felt.
Oh, let's just watch that too.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that 2019 or was that were there humans around? If there were humans around, it was 2019. Okay, so that's 2019.
That is the same thing that I felt.
Well, at least Big E lasted longer in his title defense than Bianca did.
True.
Mm.
How about that?
The 2021 World Series? Wait, that's not wrestling. I bought this hat and all I got for it was a loss.
The ending of the explosion match.
Oh yeah, the death match, the fucking sparkler match. Oh god damn, that was terrible.
Oh, today, a couple of days ago was Wendy's annual roast day.
Yeah, yes.
They put MJF's picture.
They put MJF roast MJF, and then Wendy's replied, "This is how explosive your promos are," and they showed a gif of the. I'm surprised Hector hasn't said this, so I'm gonna steal it from this motherfucker. The curse of the New Japan Championship title.
Yes.
Ospreay got that new belt, and in his first defense, lost it. Ibushi. In first defense, he lost it to Ospreay. Ospreay held the belt for a couple cups of coffee, then he hurt his neck. And then fucking Shingo.
That's how I felt. Title run for him. Worth it.
Man, and you didn't even bother putting Shingo in middle of the year. And he finally got the gold.
Yeah, but he didn't get it the way that the story was building up.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to fight and win the title off of Ospreay, and that didn't happen. He had to go do like a tournament and win it.
Yeah.
But the story was there because the whole build up of
the juniors like the year before when they were
then the G1, the same thing. You know, you had two matches already together. One of the Shingo beat him in one, Ospreay beat the other one, and Ospreay should have been defending the title against him. But that never happened. Not even in this Wrestle Kingdom, because it was Shingo against Okada, and then the winner would go and face Ospreay on the next night. So yeah.
Another big disappointment of the year: Kenny's injuries. You know, because that led to a lot of stuff being a little disappointing. I mean, I get it, you're injured, but still, I actually was gonna watch the AAA match where he was gonna defend
the Vikingo.
Yeah, him versus Vikingo. Like I really wanted to see, you know, the fucking belt collector defend that belt. I was gonna watch all the different fucking promotions where he was collecting belts. But then he dropped out, and then I was like, well, maybe I'll still watch it. It'll be Vikingo versus someone else. And they're like, no, we're gonna do a 6-way. Like, oh, and
all 5 of those guys combined didn't have enough of the value of Kenny Omega.
Yeah, like
Vikingo won that match anyway. You knew that was coming.
Yeah.
There's no way they're gonna give it to anybody else in that match. And then Vikingo won it and then went over like a fart in church. I mean, the Mexicans down there loved it. But us as wrestling fans, I mean, are we watching AAA now in the Vikingo fight champ?
No, I didn't
Is
even watch it
it
then.
possible that you would have watched it if Vikingo beat Omega in a 5-star clinic?
Yeah, I would have, because I wanted to watch it, because I wanted to know what a Vikingo was.
Yeah.
Oh, like this guy is the guy that's going to defend against Kenny Omega. Oh, maybe this is some new guy that I need to pay attention. Maybe I need to pay attention to AAA.
With Omega having that many belts, promotions have to be very selective on who's going to be the one that's blessed to take that belt from the Thanos of wrestling at that time.
I don't know.
So when they say, oh, Kenny's going to drop a belt to Hijo de Vikingo, this kid has to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have gone over a
he's
lot.
He's no Rich Swann.
I mean, I never seen the motherfucker dance. Yeah, but yeah.
Did this happen in 2021? Fiend getting released, or was that a 2020 release?
2021.
Okay, Fiend getting released. Remember when I saw that, we're like, what the
I'll give
fuck?
you another one.
But all the releases from WWE?
Yes, especially one in specific.
Okay.
The I forgot his name.
Oh well.
I'll give you some time. I'll go the other way. The way they handled Nikki's release.
That was the year before that.
You sure?
Yes.
Nikki James?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2020.
Damn.
Yeah, because she was by the time her contract expired, she was already working with the NWA.
That's right. Okay. Let's figure it out.
Keith Lee.
Oh yeah, Keith Lee. Keith Lee's entire run was disappointing. Not because of him, not his fault. But the whole thing about like he caught COVID and then like he didn't die and came back and we weren't supposed to be like, hell yeah, this is awesome. No, they slap a bear cat on him and then they release him. Like what is
like Carrie? It's like Cross with the simp outfit.
This guy, all cats matter. All simps matter.
All right, are we done with the disappointment?
Is it this obvious that AEW is our brand of the year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't make an argument for anything other than AEW.
They're the ones that didn't get hurt throughout this whole time.
If anything, they've gotten stronger.
Yeah.
This year, AEW's really ramped up.
What's the event of the year?
The event of the year? Full Gear?
All Out.
All Out?
All Out. It was a return match of CM Punk.
Don't kick Shane Cross. Thank you, Arnold.
The return of Punk. That was the night. Wasn't that the night that the Lucha Brothers won the title? Also,
that cage match.
Yeah. And then you had it was Kenny against
Christian for the AEW title.
But then the ending of it, the show of Cole and Brian coming in.
Yeah, but here's my bone to pick with that.
Okay,
if I'm nitpicking, AEW debuts hot indie talent or ex-WWE talent matches that they had it all out. There wasn't anything there that was different. And they were at the Sears Center or whatever they call this new arena now that they've been doing all outs ever since All Out and ever since All In. That's not anything that blew my mind. My event of the year is AEW Dynamite Grand Slam.
Grand Slam. Okay.
Arthur Ashe Tennis Stadium, 20,000 people. You open up with a 30-minute Omega Bryan Danielson match.
Okay. Yeah. What else happened
Oh,
there?
yeah.
What else happened?
Oh
Please
man,
refresh me because
I'm
we're
drinking.
trying to come up with the event, not necessarily the match. You know, one match doesn't make
That event brought them back into million plus views rating.
Okay.
They hadn't had that. They hadn't had that since before
And that was
debut.
and that was the venue where they beat WWE on ticket sales.
Oh, was it?
No, there's
No?
the new hockey stadium in New York, in Long Island. That was in December. They were there on Wednesday. They sold 11,000 tickets, and then WWE was there 3 or 4 days earlier, and they only sold like 5,000 tickets.
Oh shit.
Yeah, WWE's never done Arthur Ashe.
No, but that was the competition when they were in the same market,
Oh yeah, that's right.
but
Yeah.
AEW beat them on ticket sales.
Arnold says Full Gear, but I mean, I want to believe you on what you
From
just,
the card, top to bottom, Full Gear was fucking good.
Okay. What all was on Full Gear? I mean, I know it was Hangman versus Kenny, but what else?
Lucha Bros FTR.
Was it? Okay.
CM Punk Kingston.
Hector's furiously
Kingston.
furiously googling over here. Arnold says it's Full Gear. Chris is just being the bad guy, or just being that guy.
Brian Danielson against Brian Danielson against Miro, I think.
Was it? For the final?
Wasn't it Miro versus Sammy?
No, it was. Wasn't it Miro versus Orange Cassidy? No, that was the match before. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's an AEW one for sure. I mean, I would. You know what? Fucking. If I'm gonna throw a dark horse in there, take over 36. Or was it take over 35?
6. Well, 6 was the new one.
And then it ended with fucking 3 Stages of Hell with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. And we had Dragunov and Walter. And we had.
That was still black and gold. It was
Yeah,
still
that was
black
still
and
black
gold.
and gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot.
What?
On All Out, it was the Ruby Soho debuted.
Oh, yeah. Count me in. Everybody showed up. Yeah. Oh, did y'all see the part where I debuted in the crowd?
No.
Yeah? No. Yeah, we'll fuck everybody else.
Sure, we'll go with Full Gear. Arnold also says WrestleMania Night 1. That's fair.
With the rain
delay.
WrestleMania Night 1.
Where the Samoa Joe meme was born. The Samoa Joe in a raincoat meme. Bad Bunny's amazing performance. That's an OMG moment for Arnold. Bad Bunny did do pretty damn good. He did.
Ooh, can this one go back and fall into the disappointment?
Sure.
The death of the Miz.
Death of the Miz. I didn't know the Miz died. What happened to the Miz?
Oh, that zombie match.
Zombie.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, poof, he appeared on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. That was Zombie Miz on Dancing with the Stars. You turn a zombie, you learn how to dance. Hands down, the best celebrity wrestling performance. He's still talking about Bad Bunny. Yeah, I agree with him. I haven't been as thoroughly entertained with the celebrity performance as I was with Bad Bunny.
I don't know.
Name me a better celebrity performance.
Arrow guy.
Arrow guy?
Stephen Amell.
There you go.
Oh, Arrow.
Against Christopher Daniels.
Yes.
Not in WWE, but Christopher Daniels in All Out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We come to the part of the show where we do match of the year.
God damn.
How did we do the categories this year, Abel?
So we did a little bit different this year. We did a little bit different, where we, instead of throughout the year just saying this is a match of the year, let's throw it on the list regardless of what promotion it was from. This year we decided we're going to pick a match of the year for each promotion, and
Group.
then each promotion group, and then go with those. So that way we had 4 categories. So main roster WWE, which is Raw and SmackDown. Oh, we have 5. Okay, I'm sorry. NXTs, so regular NXT, UKs, whatever. AEW, Japan, and the rest. So the rest. So throughout the year, we weren't able to pick something from the rest. So we actually don't have anything from the rest. Sorry, Impact. Sorry, ROH. Sorry, ROW or whatever. Nothing made the list. Probably because we just weren't paying enough attention or whatever.
That's the winner.
Yeah. Huh?
That's the winner. There's too much wrestling going on, and
Yeah.
y'all don't have as much time.
Yeah. So we just have 4 categories. So main roster WWE, the NXTs, AEW,
New
and
Japan.
Japan. So that's our 4 categories. We have 4 matches that we are trying to determine out of those 4 which is the match of the year.
So before we break down the 4 matches, I'm gonna run down the list of all the matches that at one point were on this match of the year candidacy. The 4 that are in our finals: Will Ospreay versus Zack Sabre Jr. from the New Japan Cup, March 14th. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, main eventing night 1 at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's title. Volta versus Ilya Dragunov 2, that was in NXT TakeOver 36.
36.
And then Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page at Full Gear for the AEW Men's World title.
Now,
those are the 4 finalists.
Now, I feel like we have to throw out a lot of disclaimers. And the disclaimers are this. Not only is it just matches we watch, which it eliminates a lot of stuff because we're not always going to watch everything, but it also has to be a match that at this table, the members that are on that particular episode have to agree. So Hector was out for a lot of the year. Arnold was in and out throughout the year. I mean, me and Chris have been pretty consistent, but for half the year, I wasn't watching WWE. So if you're like, man, that match should have been on the list. That's not the best match from AEW. That's not the best match from WWE. Hey, I'm sorry. This fits our criteria and the way that we do it. Do I doubt that you're right? Do I doubt that you're wrong? Fuck no. You're probably right. But this is according to our show, our opinion, and the way that we actually rank the matches when we're here.
With our schedule.
Fucking Arnold.
So those are the 4 matches that were our finalists.
Arnold said Hambone versus David Dubron didn't make the list. No, because Hambone is retired. He hasn't fought in 2021, bitch.
Matches that were at some point on this list. Your favorite: Jay White versus Kota Ibushi for the World and Intercontinental titles at New Japan Wrestle Kingdom. Dr. Britt Baker,
DMT
versus Thunder Rosa, Lights Out match, AEW Dynamite, St. Patrick's Day Slam, and Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros Steel Cage match for the AEW World Tag Team title. Is there, looking back on the 4 matches we saw, is there anything that we got wrong? Do any of the 3 matches that were dethroned belong on the list? Or did we get the right ones with the 4 that we got?
No, we got the right ones. The one that I was really going back and forth on, even at the episode that we decided to dethrone it, was Bucks and Lucha Brothers. Like, man, I really wanted that to be on the list, but then it got dethroned. And looking back on it, I'm okay with it. I think that there is a match that could have been thrown on last minute if we were doing the same thing that we did last year, where it's just throw all the matches on there and churn them out and see what comes out at the end. But the way we were doing this particular year, it wouldn't have made it. And that is the tag match from New Year's Eve.
Rampage,
the girls, yeah.
Bunny and Penelope Ford against Ty Conti and
yeah.
And
I would say if we were going to have Britt versus Thunder on that, we may as well put those 2 girls on that because
the tag match was just as good.
It was just as good, if not, they did crazier shit than they did. But either way,
thumbtacks into the JJ.
Thumbtacks into the JJ. Goddamn. But that isn't going to dethrone what we actually ultimately have on there for AEW, which was Hangman and Omega.
So before we make our selections, let's just gush about what we like so much and how these 4 matches ended up here.
Okay.
We'll let you start with Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. from the New Japan Cup in March.
Let's just put it this way. He was entertained with that match. Yeah, I kept hearing it do sound, but I don't.
I'm sure Randy recognizes a lot of those sounds.
Yeah. But the fact that we, like you said, when we were watching it, it's 2 heels going at it.
Yeah.
And people were loving it. And just like you have, of course, you see Zack Sabre Jr. as technician. Ospreay is trying to lean away from the high flying and going into the heavyweight contendership. So less of the flippy dippy shit. And the heel aspect of it kind of reminded me of how I dare to say Randy Orton was back in the day
Oh,
of cocky.
okay.
You were starting to see the glimpses that the way Osprey it has become now of being the top shit.
Yeah.
And just seeing that, and then the chemistry between both of them, it's there. You could put them whatever emergency match if some shit happens COVID wise, have them two on the roster. Okay, y'all two fight. They'll give you a fucking entertaining match. I'm like, man, that's why it belonged on the list.
Disclaimer: he was the first one to say Jay White and Kota Ibushi are match of the year. He never saw this match. He trusted us to put this on the list.
Yeah.
So this is technically Abel's first time watching this match.
So that's true.
What did you think?
I think you guys made the right choice and it didn't dethrone Jay White's match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You're right. I was making all kinds of nice little sounds. But yeah, ultimately, it did beat out the Jay White match. It did. I very much enjoyed the match. I did suffer a little bit from what you just brought up, that it's two heels that are trying to out heel each other, but at one point, Osprey kind of broke, and you can tell he was like laughing at some of the shit that Zack Sabre Jr. was doing. But it was still very entertaining and very hard hitting, and I really liked the technical aspects in between the bells.
Yeah. To give a second to the person that didn't make it today, I think this is one of the very few New Japan matches that Arnold would have liked. Because Arnold is not a huge fan of the very slow starts in the New Japan matches.
Right.
But since these two have so much history, there's no need for a feel-out process. The bell rang and they were already running at 8,000 RPM.
I mean, Kevin Kelly even said it. Wow, we're getting a fast start to this matchup, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Arnold would have loved this match.
Yeah.
If he had seen it, he would have loved it.
Yeah. I mentioned this when we were watching it. Kevin Kelly is reaching Joey Styles levels of commentary ascension, where Kevin Kelly by himself can commentate better than any 2-man or 3-man or 4-man or 6-man or 8-man, whatever Rampage is on Fridays, whoever's at the table. How many men commentary booth there are?
It's time for the main event.
Hey, but the crowd's popping at that catchphrase. Like, you don't hear them say it long.
He's selling shirts with that on it. So merch money.
If it weren't for that hook shirt, he'd be number one right now. And then
somewhere else.
And then and for all the moments that fucking Kevin Kelly can dissect a match and break down all the moves, there were at least 2 spots during that match where Kevin Kelly just sat back and you could tell that he was enjoying it as a fan in the moment and just being like, wow,
there was a good,
this is fun as shit. Like, you could tell by the silence.
Yeah, 15 to 30 seconds of dead air where I was like, yo, you gotta commentate, bro. But like,
oh shit, I'll work.
like he was just watching
it's
the
3
match.
a.m. our time, man.
You say that's a good thing, which I understand because you're looking at it as a pro wrestling fan. But me looking at it as somebody that does commentary every so often, I was like, dude, wake up.
Yeah, I commentate.
Like, dude, wake up. Quit
Quit laying out.
Match. Yeah, laying out. But it's still like, at the end of the day, we're trying to entertain the fans and not pop ourselves. So yeah, it works.
Here's the rebuttal to that. You even said it when we were watching it. When you said that exact same line, like you took the time to sit back and just enjoy it, but you also followed up of that's the liberty where you don't have nobody yelling at your ear.
Yeah.
Of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the right person win?
Yes.
Sure. I don't have a strong enough opinion either way to say that the right person won or lost.
We'll fill you in on historical significance.
Yes.
Osprey wound up, this match helped him win the tournament.
Right.
And in his title match that he earned, he took the belt from Kota.
Yes.
So he became champion and solidified United Empire as the new, like, Japan team that you're supposed to not like. And made it work for a while until he had that neck injury, but regardless.
Yeah.
That's what we got with this match. Sasha versus Bianca. Night 1. Main eventing. WrestleMania 30.
So I think that when it happened back in March, April, whenever it was, I think we were all impressed with the matchup. I didn't think it was gonna hold up on a second viewing. And to my surprise, on the second viewing, I liked it more than what I did the first time. And I said it while sitting on the couch. I said it to you guys. Holy shit, they had a whole lot of close encounters, like near misses, where that shit almost didn't work.
Someone could have got fucked up.
Yeah, like they almost didn't do something right, and it was almost a botchamania match. But it added something to the match. And a lot of the recoveries just came from Bianca doing what her gimmick in the match was, which is overpowering, right? Like she was doing like this delayed vertical suplex, and Sasha's head, instead of being here, was way the fuck down here, and she had to keep like trying to lift her back up from like her falling over, and she had to do that like a couple of times. And even when she did, she never had her fully up and erect.
And Sasha wasn't upright, straight upright.
Freezing. Yeah. She had her little slouch down, and I was like, "This is not going to work. This is not going to work." And she did it, and it worked just out of fucking sheer muscle. You know, there was like 3 or 4 instances of things like that where it was like, "This is gonna work. This is gonna work." Oh fuck, it worked, and it made it look more brutal because they almost fucked up.
There were some very cumbersome spots in that match.
Yeah.
Nothing more brutal than the fucking whip. We've been watching Bianca and NXT as a heel, being damn good at that arrogant heel, being the EST of everything. Mm-hmm. And whenever she can't get her way, she will whip them poor girls into oblivion. And she called up to the main roster, and she hadn't done jack shit. And at some point, I was like, man, are they not gonna let this girl do it? So the fact that she broke that out to be the deciding factor in the match, that sound, you could see that a lot of the people in the audience had masks. You couldn't see their facial expressions. You could see their eyes like bulge out like that kid at front row when Undertaker lost. Like, what the fuck? And then when she hit the KOD, oh.
See, and there was part of me that wanted to say that, oh, that's like a piped in, right? But it wasn't. Because immediately, right when she got Sasha up for the KOD and her abdomen was exposed, you saw the welt already starting to form. And then 1, 2, 3, replay. Then they showed Sasha, and it was fully formed. It was bright fucking red. I was like, damn. Yeah, it was cool.
You called it on that match, especially for that moment. That is gonna be this generation sound of the bedpan of Stone Cold. Just hearing the
damn.
I want to see that backstage documentary video of Bianca practicing on a dummy.
Get the right angle and the right kind of. I want to see Sasha going through the curtain and just be going like, whoa.
Yeah, there was a documentary where
24 probably.
Steve Austin's documentary where he's in the back. While they're filming, he's like finding the right spot on his head to get that sound, and he couldn't get it. So he thought it was a miracle. I just swang for the fence, and it sounded like $1 million. It was a cash register making the $1 million sound. That's what that sounded like. So that whip from Bianca, she like I said, she had done it a lot in NXT, and it never sounded like that. Possibly because it was so wide open as opposed to being enclosed in little.
Yeah. Well, that could be it, but I honestly think that the reason why is because that was too much of a heel move to do, and they wanted to have her be super fucking babyface. But they actually let her do it. But she did have a lot of stuff in the match with the hair, but it was all defensive, right?
It was
Sasha kept grabbing the hair, so she would use her hair and put her in her.
She wanted that badly, she got it.
You want to use it? Yeah. Try to use it? This is how you use it.
Walter versus Dragunov 2.
God damn. Oh my god. That match was brutal.
Does it live up to the hype of the first one?
No. Because it's a totally different match.
Yes, I agree.
Is that a negative or a positive?
For me, it's a positive.
Yeah, I think it was, while it was still super brutal, I think it was turned up to an 11, whereas the first one was turned up to 13 on the fucking violence and brutality, which I'm okay with that. I don't need to have fucking ghost pepper, scorpion, death drop, habanero salsa every single meal, right? Like
sometimes lemon pepper gets it done.
Give me a little bit of lemon pepper and some flaming hot, Cool Ranch Doritos, and that's it. I don't need the extra flaming hot. Just give me the flaming hot with the ranch. Let's just balance it out. And that's what we had here. Where
Good shit, huh?
yeah. Oh God, that was badass. And that's what we had here because while we still had the violence turned up to 11, there was still enough story with Ilya Dragunov actually winning. Because the first one, he wasn't going to win. It was like Walter was just going to take as much punishment, dish out as much punishment, and just make it be like, wow, look at the punishment. But LOL, you know who's still going to win, right? But this one was like, fuck, he actually did it. How did he actually do it? He did it by choking him out in such a way that even though he was the shorter guy, he wrenched back far enough to where the taller man was in the air from a fucking choke out. It was cool, man. It was just different. It was different than the first one. Different enough that I really, really liked it.
Was it obvious that Ilya was winning when this match was going on, or was this just, oh, we're gonna give the Americans what nobody in the UK and the person got?
I don't think it was obvious.
Run it again.
It wasn't obvious because I was fully expecting Walter to win it.
So was I. That's probably where the excitement of the finish came for me because at the moment when I was watching it the first time, I was like, this is a good match. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna buy Dragunov over Walter. And then the last 30, 45 seconds of come up before he put that sleeper in, Walter was on his knees and he like lifted him up like, oh shit. And the moment I said, oh shit, that's when Walter tapped. I was like, oh shit. He won me over. Like that was very believable. It took a while for me to grasp the concept of Dragunov. Walter 1 was Bane beating up Batman and breaking his back.
Yeah.
Dragunov, Walter 2 was Batman learning from his hubris and actually using it to his advantage and actually finally getting one over on Bane.
Yeah,
and that's what that felt like, especially with with Dragunov actually like hulking himself up after all this. When he got chopped in the back and you saw his face morph into this like weird looking demon kind of thing and turned around to Walter sold that thing the way he was supposed to.
I love what Wade Barrett said. He said about Ilya, this man is just an animal. And yeah, he was. He was just an animal who was just running off of aggression. The more he got beat down, the angrier and more ferocious he got. And that's where his strength lied. That's how he won the match.
That's his story, basically.
Not because
he should run with.
Not because he was bigger or stronger or smarter in the ring. Yeah, he was faster, but he had not heart. He had more anger and pissed offness.
Festivity levels were higher.
Festivity levels. His piss and vinegar levels were rising throughout that match.
Festivity, verb. This bitch angry.
It's a noun.
Also an adverb.
Not a pronoun.
Again, there's certain matches, and I'm not trying to put this on the same level, but no matter how many times after WrestleMania 25, you're never going to duplicate Taker HBK 1. Which isn't Taker HBK 1, it's probably Taker HBK 17. But in that timeline,
right,
from WrestleMania 25, an Undertaker streak, Taker HBK 1. I think it would have been a huge disservice if it was another 45-minute child abusing the way the first Dragunov Walter match was. So to see a different dynamic of Dragunov using Walter's own momentum against him and using Walter's own, Ready to Rumble. The last lesson he trained that taught the wrestlers: you don't aim for their weaknesses, you aim for their strengths because they won't see it coming. The fact that Walter wasn't expecting Dragunov to hit him with the same kind of strength and force that Walter hits other people,
he chopped him to death.
He chopped his fucking thigh.
Yes, on purpose, not an accident. Like he whipped
as a technical maneuver. Let me chop him in the thigh. What wears him out and use that to my advantage.
He literally worked his whole neck completely. You started seeing Walter roll up on the side,
and then on the back,
and then on the back.
Yeah, and even regardless of how many like hundreds of people were in the CWC at that time, it's still a small place. So as quiet as the crowd were in that split moment, expecting the chop to happen so that they can hear it, when those chops were going off, they sounded just as brutal as they did it when there was nobody in the other arena. Yeah, it was fucking good. And again, I think the right guy won. I think Walter's run, 800 and something thousand days as champ. It was a good run for him.
I think it was 870 is what.
Yeah. So I'd buy it.
All right.
So
that's our NXT's entry.
yeah.
So our AEW entry, we've already got a little bit of chatter in the chat. They're saying Robert and Arnold was saying
Arrow guy that disqualifies him immediately.
Yes. They're saying Omega versus Danielson, which we considered. They considered Omega versus Danielson. We considered Danielson versus Hangman.
One.
Right, one. Both of which were disqualified, and I'm surprised Arnold even brought this up. Both of which were disqualified because of the fact that Arnold doesn't like draw limits.
Yeah.
You know, which is I'm very surprised that he actually said that in the chat because that's an Arnold rule. He doesn't like ties, right? So, but for me, that was one of the things that took away from Omega Danielson. But it didn't take away from Hangman Danielson. I thought that match was even though it was a 60-minute time limit draw. I almost wanted to put that on our match of the year list. So yeah.
The only problem, I think I said that in my defense was if we're like really cutting the fat and getting to like the cream of the crop, Omega versus Danielson versus Hangman is not a dream match at all. I never was the guy going, oh man, I want Danielson to come back from injury because I want him to fight Hangman. No. Now give me Danielson Omega. You know, even if it was just 30 minutes, that at least made it a notch above Hangman. But at the end of the day, the story, 3-year build for Hangman's side, you know, that he lost the first main event world title match in AEW's history. And he's been fighting ever since to get back on it. And then he tried relying on his elite friends and Kenny Omega, and that fell apart. And then he found new friends with the Dark Order, and they were clearly not at the elite level. But
they were there for him.
But then the match, the coming out party when he had the fucking ladder match and everyone, he was a Joker and came out, and then building up to the main event, cowboy shit promo, and then you put them in the ring. Right person won. A small part of me already knew before that weekend happened that the match was already, that's the right, sometimes easy's the best.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that kills a little bit of like anticipation. Watching it at Scott's, I was pay-per-view started, and I already knew that Hangman was winning. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's the jaded wrestling fan in me or the wannabe know-it-all in me that I've been watching this for so fucking long. You can kind of telegraph what's going to happen. I wish I would have been more excited in the moment for what it was.
Okay.
What about you? The match is over. What are you thinking?
I was very excited. I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the show where my wrestling PTSD was kicking in, where I thought Hangman wouldn't win and they were going to keep it on Omega. Knowing that there was some scuttlebutt and rumors that Omega was hurt, but maybe not really. You know, he's okay, so he might not be dropping the belt just yet. He'll probably drop all the extra belts that he has, but maybe not the main one, which is the AEW one. I wasn't really 100% sure if they were actually going to pull the trigger on Hangman and let Hangman run with it. Because I've been here before where the guy that I want to win doesn't win, right? And the guy on the other side of the ring, the guy that I don't want to win, always is somebody that I fucking hate and I'm tired of seeing, as in Roman, Cena, JBL, these kind of guys, right? That Vince kept pushing. But in a surprising turn of events, I actually like Kenny Omega. And I've liked Kenny Omega the same way how I've liked Cody Rhodes over the last year and a half to 2 years. Even though sometimes the IWC has turned on Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega, right? I'm still on the Kenny and Cody bandwagon. I still am. So I was like, Kenny's probably gonna win this. I'm gonna be okay with it. Sucks for Hangman. It sucks for the long-term storytelling, but all right. And then, oh shit, they actually did it. Whoa, hell yeah! I was happy. Was it easy? Was it the right thing to do? Yeah. But I was happy that they did the right thing because I expect them to not do the right thing because I'm a wrestling fan and I'm a Houstonian. So this is, after the World Series, so it was actually before World Series.
Bell rings. What's your first thought? Watching it the second time around.
They made the right decision, but I get the, the I get the timeline of it, or the fact that they had to wait till they had so much build up that the crowd was more invested. Because when he lost his number one contendership, the crowd already knew it. We already knew that. Okay, Hangman's gonna win this one. And then when it didn't happen, they're like, oh shit. And then he leaves, and then we're like, all right,
Paternity leave.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, what the fuck happened?
No, I could tell you in July and August, as a wrestling fan that travels to a lot of these shows, I did not want to spend money to see Kenny Omega versus Christian main event AEW's biggest show of the year.
Okay.
The story that you've been telling me from January to June was that Hangman and Omega was going to be the blow off, and it was going to be it all out. Then he took the paternity leave, and you're thinking, well, what the fuck's happening now? But then storyline time fitting in that it was full gear last year when they split, and that Omega won number one contendership with Page, and that he wound up winning the title later on, and all that. It kind of worked itself out in the end.
Yeah,
but in that moment, the iron was at its hottest. I'm not sure that, in your guys' opinion, that iron was still as hot in October, November as it was June, May, maybe July.
But it's like you said, that one promo was the thing that fixed it.
Yeah.
Because
and the ladder match in order for him to qualify for it, that brought me right back in. Hangman did such a good job.
Because even at that, I still remember the conversations within the group of who do we think is going to be the Joker. We're already guessing people. None of us mentioned Hangman. And that when he popped, it was like, oh shit, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
And he basically got right back onto where he left off. And then the promo built it up more. The blow off, we finally get the blow off. And then the way the story is going now, because when it ended, prior to the 3 count, you got the nod from the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
They were finally in the corner, and they acknowledged him of, all right, it's your time. We're here. They let it happen the night after, the Wednesday after, when Omega left. He himself said it, I haven't watched the match. So that means Omega hasn't watched the acknowledgement of the Bucks.
Oh.
So that continues the story there between the Elite. Mm-hmm. So you have something that when Omega comes back, he's got something there. Okay. But overall, for that match, it was a great way to blow off 3 years of having consistent storytelling between them. So I was happy about the ending and the results of it. So, and plus, it ended up beating the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers, so it earned its spot.
All right. So that's all 4 of ours. We gave our nice little previews where we've all said glowing things about these 4 matches. But now it's time to take out the butcher's knife and talk shit and dissect these things and knit all those picks. Or pick all those knits. Whatever. And we got to decide what's actually going to be our match of the year. Now, as we've done in the past, the way we're going to do this is rank this by basically a point system, right? So each one of us individually have our list. Each position on the list will give you more points. The one with the most points wins, correct? Or is it the least points?
The one with the most points.
You're doing the most points. Okay, so we all have 4 matches. So shall we start with what is our number 4? Who wants to kick us off? Fine, I will kick us off.
Yes.
All right. So in my number 4 position, and let me say I'm kind of mad about my list, and I've actually made a couple of revisions even while talking throughout this episode. But at number 4 on my list
getting 1 point.
Getting 1 point. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Will Ospreay. Number 4 on my list. Now, out of the 4 matches that we've seen, I think in between the bells, the wrestling itself, the technicality, and the actual fighting in the ring, it's my second favorite match. Right? So, all right, that's pretty good. Why is it not number 2 or number 1 then? If it's your second favorite match as far as between the bells go? Well, the reason why is because this is for a number 1 contenders tournament and not necessarily the last of the tournament, not for the title. Yes, the person that won eventually won the tournament and eventually won the title, but this isn't the title match. This isn't the number 1 contender match. This is a match in the series. And you kind of brought it up yourself too, Hector. It was heel versus heel, so you kind of didn't really know who to cheer for. And Zack Sabre breaking Ospreay and Ospreay laughing and giggling throughout the match was a cool moment for them in their rivalry, but it felt like a cool moment in their rivalry and in their friendship as wrestlers backstage and knowing each other for such a long time. So not necessarily something that I needed to see on the telly, because it seemed as though maybe they were trying to call an audible, like, okay, since we're both heels, you play babyface in this match while I play heel, and it just, I don't know, it didn't work. It's New Japan, you may as well just stay heels, and that's it. But yeah, that's where I was on that. And again, not a bad match. I think it's my second favorite match as far as the wrestling goes, but the stakes weren't there for me. The story wasn't there for me as much. I get it that they had history, but this particular match, it was, oh, it's part of the tournament. Yeah. Okay, it wasn't a feud. It wasn't a grudge match. It wasn't, I'm going to meet you at the Japan Cup and kick your ass. No, it was like, okay, well, I happen to fight you and we happen to have a little bit of history. It's like Usos versus New Day because they're in a tag tournament. Yeah, sure, Usos versus New Day is a great fucking rivalry, but it's just a fucking tag tournament, and that's why they're meeting each other here. So that's where I am with that. That's why that is my number 4.
Hector, what is your number 4?
Weird to say, but I agree with Abel.
What? What?
Damn! Did Japan like void your passport or something? You're getting back?
No, it's just that again, we're the New Japan guys out of this group.
Yeah, you and Chris, yeah.
But when it comes down to it, there's the history there between both of them. It has so much, but for the people that are watching it, it really doesn't really matter. So there's no play for it. And then there wasn't really other than a great match, and whoever wins goes on, advances in the tournament. But other than that, it's kind of like a throwaway match, kind of an entertaining throwaway match. But there's no real what's gonna happen next. It got crossed paths. What's gonna happen next? Is there anything there? So that's why I pick it as number 4.
Damn. So sitting so far with 2 of us voting, that is at 2 points. Chris, what is your number 4?
I can't believe I'm about to say what I'm about to say.
Oh shit.
I agree with both of you.
What? Wow! I can't believe it.
There is a very, very glaring flaw in New Japan Pro Wrestling right now.
Okay.
Is that between injuries and COVID has made the problem much more obvious and much more worse to handle.
What problem is that?
It isn't fresh. I love this match. Every candidate on this match brings something completely different to the table as their primary. And the primary for this match, it's fucking sound wrestling. It's beautiful wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a match that I've seen a dozen times already.
Oh.
Everything in New Japan is a dozen times already.
Okay. Okay.
Jeff Cobb's only been there for like 2 years, and I feel like he's already wrestled everyone 3 times already. Between the New Japan Cup and G1, there's so many tournaments now that you can already face the entire roster by the 3rd year and already have nothing new to come up with.
Yes.
To Ospreay's defense, the establishing of the United Empire, this helps it, but that's like putting a bandage on a shotgun blast. You need more than that. Sidebar: if we can make time at the end of the month to the beginning of next month, I want us to do a dark match with night 3 of Wrestle Kingdom.
Okay.
Because when I say this thing needs fresh new blood, there's a possibility. There's a possibility for Tetsuya Naito to wrestle Katsuhiko Nakajima for the GHC title, and that's fresh blood, fresh matches. The whole fucking roster is 2 different brands, so you're gonna see a lot of styles mixing that you're not used to. Part of my also disappointment of New Japan because of COVID primarily, and I hope that's the reason and not by New Japan's own hand, is they can be doing a lot more with bringing in their U.S. roster, Filthy Tom Lawler, Moxley a little bit, TJP, Leo Rush, Frank Rosser. From Primetime Players, he's a pretty good solo hand in New Japan US. Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks. There's some homegrown dojo people in LA that could freshen up that New Japan roster in Japan, just like the kid that fought Shibata.
Yes.
There's a lot of young lions that could really freshen up those weekly and monthly pay-per-view and big event shows. Because the same people and the same teams and the same factions all the time, at some point you're getting burnout. And if I had never seen this match before, this might be my top pick. But when you already know that, Arnold's gonna like this because they're gonna go fast. Why are they gonna go fast? Because they already know each other. Why do they know each other? I've seen them 9 times already. So that's what side of the coin are you looking at? You're looking from the negative side or the positive side? And when we're nitpicking the top of the top, that has to be said that there wasn't a lot fresh from this other than Ospreay slowly trying to creep away from what made him popular as a cruiserweight and finding his footing on the heavyweight side. But you shouldn't really be finding your footing on the heavyweight side against someone that you weigh more than.
Right.
That's my number 4. And with all due respect, that's my number 4.
Yeah. Now that being said, we've all just said what our number 4 is, and we all disagreed on what our number 4 is. And there's 2 ironic.
I just changed it the last minute after hearing y'all talk. That was not normally my number 4.
Really?
No.
Okay. And there's 2 ironic things about it. The first ironic thing is that our New Japan entry features 2 white guys that are Japanese, and our number 4 entry that we all agree on is the exact opposite of what you said you were afraid of before Hector got here, and I did. It's like, I'm afraid that our number 4 is going to be the same, and it's going to be but it wasn't, and it was a different match. So we'll get to that in a second, but I think that's really interesting.
And oddly enough, the third difference, this is the only match that wasn't a title match.
Yes.
My number 3 is a title match. It's Sasha and fucking Bianca.
Oh, okay, cool. Expound, sir.
To be upfront, I think if you're putting the top 3 matches on a scale, the other 2 weigh a little bit more overall. And it isn't anything against because it's a women's match, it's so low. It's not my bottom match, and I would have wanted it to be higher than it really was. Significance is a fucking lot in this. It has a lot to do with it. New Japan is bringing sound, pure technical wrestling. The WWE pick is bringing a lot of historical significance and a lot of drama, because just now, watching it for the first time audibly at 100%, hearing the announcer and hearing Michael Cole, this is the first 2 women of color that are main eventing a WrestleMania for the women's championship. My eyes got foggy. I was about to start crying. Hearing that. And then watching the girls react to the crowd. The bell rang, the crowd standing up. I was on the floor in Dallas with Okada and Tanahashi, and that bell rang at G1, and everybody stood up like it was like the best thing ever. and seeing that crowd, the first WWE major crowd since COVID started, their first escape from the Thunderdome, that was a huge fucking deal. And you could feel it reverberate from everyone else watching their reaction to the ring before it even started. And then as soon as that match started and they proved they belonged there.
Yep.
My only nitpick is, like I said, the other two matches I think I would go back and watch a couple more times. This one I might watch maybe once more. It just the other two I think they weigh more to me. And again, it's not a slight towards them. They're in the top 4 of all the matches we've seen all 2021. So in third place is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah.
But that's my number 3, Sasha and Bianca.
All right.
You got my number 32.
Oh!
You need to update the scoreboard. Oh shit! So at what 2 points apiece? It's at 4 points.
And it's you hit all the points that I had, but I had an additional one that the story for it didn't catch for me. It's I feel like I've seen that story so many times before, and it's just plug in A and plug in B, follow this script, and this is what is gonna happen.
Okay.
And I honestly I got tired of it.
Oh, okay.
The match itself was great, entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's like, if I were to just watch the match and just try to watch everything that happened before it did not catch my attention. And I can honestly tell you that because I ended up skipping that WrestleMania, watching it.
Okay.
Like nothing caught my attention. For me to be invested enough to let me take some time.
This is your first time watching that match?
No, I watched it before.
Oh, okay.
Like, because I remember watching the episode of the show, and then y'all picked it. I'm like, all right, let me see why they picked it.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, all right. It was
so you watch it back in spring.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then watching it now is like, yeah, now I get why it's on the list. But story wise, like, it also reminded me of why I didn't watch WrestleMania because it didn't.
It felt like not the lowest, but it felt like a lower tier build for a Rumble winner heading into a WrestleMania.
Okay.
I think I mentioned this when we did the podcast previewing this. They did a clip on YouTube or on Facebook where they had like an NXT Columbine, and they showed like all the rookies doing Combine. Yeah, not Columbine. Sorry, Combine. And for the women's division, Bianca was knocking the whole thing out. Mm-hmm. Right, but that never coalesced onto a promo on television to tell the casual people or me that's watching the weekly show why Bianca's deserving to be against the boss that I've seen from NXT tear up Iron Man matches and steal shows at takeovers and winning titles and becoming the first ever Hell in a Cell, first ever such and such, first ever such and such. I didn't get the matching of the two of how Bianca was there.
Yeah.
And the match itself from bell to bell with everything in the middle was freaking great. But yeah, there were some misfires there that other contenders on our list didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Abel,
my number 3.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 is my favorite match in between the bells for this go around, and that is Walter versus Dragunov.
Ooh.
In between the bells, god damn, this match was something else. It was pretty. It was ugly. It was something that I want to say I never seen before, but no, actually I have seen it before. Once. You know when that was?
Last year
when these two motherfuckers did it.
And just like last year, this was one of the most visceral matches out of the three of us. That's what this came with.
Yeah.
This came with the reaction. This came with the feeling in the pit of your stomach, like, oh.
Yeah. And the extra.
I'm sure you were making noises that Randy makes.
Why?
When y'all were together.
Yes.
During this match.
The extra technical abilities that was thrown in where you could tell Dragunov, aside from getting just pissed off and getting more piss and vinegary, like we talked about before, it looked like he had a little bit of a plan. And that plan was, well, I need to out technical wrestle him, right? I need to do grabs. I need to do holds. I need to grab his arm when he presents it, take him down to the mat. I need to put him in a fucking chokehold and do everything I can. Even though I'm pissed off and I just want to chop him, I need to do that and all this other stuff. Like you could tell the desperation was going and going and going, but he fucking like I gotta stick to my plan, even though I'm desperate. It was beautiful. It was art. It was the best wrestling match between the bells of 2021, bar none. The reason why it's number 3 is because I was sitting on that couch, and you were sitting next to me, and you were sitting on the other side. We had to ask, is Dragunov still champ? Oh, I don't know. Hold on, let me Google it. Oh, he's still champ. Oh, okay. Where's Walter been? Oh, he's a school teacher now. He's not going to wrestle anymore. What?
Nah, he showed up for a little bit, but for the most part in the middle, after that match, he rested up for a while.
Yeah. After that match, cricket. What is this NXT UK Championship? When was the last time NXT UK Championship was relevant at all after this match? Never. Dragunov won that title and done jack shit with that title. I don't even care about, I don't even feel guilty for not watching NXT UK. I feel a little guilty for not watching NXT 2.0. I feel a little guilty for not watching Raw the last half of the year. I feel a little guilty for not watching SmackDown at the last half of the year. You mentioned NXT UK 3 hours ago, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I forgot that was a thing. So yeah, that's number 3. Historical significance is a -3 on this. And we're at an 11 on the match itself. God damn, the match is amazing, but it doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. Nothing. It means less than the match that you just talked about. The Zack Sabre match. Because you agreed with me. I was surprised that you agreed with me because you're a New Japan guy, but you're right. It didn't really mean anything because it was a part of a tournament that later did some whatever. It was like Usos versus New Day. The reason why you said that they didn't have to do the feeling out process is because they felt each other out many, many times before. This match, it means even less than that because it's for a championship that may as well just be some aluminum foil wrapped around you.
Might as well be the 24/7 title.
Maybe. Yes. At least that gets fucking runtime.
No, run as in everyone runs out.
Yeah, I mean, if Bad Bunny was 24/7,
my number 2.
Number 2.
Let's rumble some feathers.
Oh,
my number 2 is Omega versus Hangman.
Oh.
You know why? Because you don't get a ribbon for doing the right thing.
Oh.
Wait, what? The story was awesome. The match itself was good. The right person won. But you just said it.
What did I say?
That was not the best match between the bells. There was no real coherent story in that match other than Kenny's the champ, Hangman needs the belt. Was anyone attacking any body part? Was anyone focusing on any limb? Was anyone focused on one? Was there one motivating factor on their offense or defense? None.
Okay.
Bupkis.
Okay.
0.
Okay.
The square root of Jack.
Okay.
It was, for all intents and purposes, a match. I was at an 11 for the anticipation. That doesn't mean I'm giving that match from bell to bell an 11. Remember, it's from the beginning of the bell to the end of the bell. That promo of him walking on the street in that horse with the fucking Dark Order running through the bird, that's awesome. But the bell rang. Yeah, the historical significance and story 3 years build, it deserved to be on this list. But does it deserve to be on the top of the list? Not on mine. My number 2 is Hangman versus Omega for the AEW Championship.
Okay.
That match gets 3 points. You! It's number 2.
Walter Dragunov.
Oh, all right. Why is it number 2?
Match-wise, I liked it. Story-wise, the only significant theme that I remember is from the first one, when Dragunov lost, I think the last promo he said was, I'm going away, but I'm coming back to be better, to be able to beat Walter. If I recall, was there any build-up in NXT in regards to their story other than Dragunov Walter 2 on TakeOver?
No, you're right.
No,
There wasn't. It was like, hey, this match was great.
Even
You
that,
say,
I wouldn't
you
know
should've watched
because
it.
I wasn't watching UK.
That was the build.
In NXT.
In NXT.
In regular NXT.
The build was Regal showed up with Triple H. Hey, this match happened on NXT UK. It was really good. We're going to have it on TakeOver. That was the build. You're right.
And what was the significance of that other than we need a match to fill a spot? Let's put them.
Wasn't even the main event.
Yeah.
That's an indictment.
Now we're getting savage. Now we're cutting throat.
That's a juicy indictment. Okay, so why is it number 2 and not 3 or 4?
2-wise, the story-wise, I love the match.
Mhm.
The actual storytelling within the ropes, within belt to belt, it was there of he learned his lesson from the first one. He built up, and he didn't, like you said, he did not let his anger overtake what his plan was.
Okay.
And he achieved it. Beat him at his own game of his strengths, which was a fucking chop. He chopped him down to the point where, hey, you did it. All right, let me do it to you for you to see how you feel. And it ended up working. Entertaining match. After that, story-wise, jack shit. I don't know who the hell Dragunov was.
He came back on one episode of NXT US thanking the Americans for watching him win the belt, and then he went back to his home planet.
Yeah. That's it. You're right. That's all right. That's my number 2.
That's your number 2. So are we
Senor
on
Morales,
we're on my number 2?
your number 2.
So my number 2, I changed a couple of times.
Shit.
My
You
number 2.
indecisive dick.
My number 2 is the Women's Championship match for WrestleMania.
Yo!
Sasha versus Bianca Belair. That's my number 2. In between the bells, I liked it a lot. I liked it more than what I thought I was gonna like it because I thought it was just gonna be your typical WWE style match, and it could have been your typical WWE style match if those 3 or 4 different spots didn't go the way they went. And the ones that I'm referencing are the ones that look like they almost fucked up, or they actually did fuck up, but they didn't. Right? The saves, if they were saves, made it for me. So In Between the Bells, I really, really liked it. Now, I don't think the In Between the Bells were at a 10. We're probably at a 9. Well, then why the fuck am I putting it over Zack Sabre Jr. and Ilya Dragunov? Why am I putting it over those 2 matches if I admittedly say that those In Between the Bells matches are better than this match?
And you haven't seen shit in the last 3 months of WWE television.
The reason why is because I think this is way more significant than those other 2. It's significant because it's for a title that's relevant. At the main event of WrestleMania, where it was not only 2 women, but 2 black women. Main eventing WrestleMania. Holy shit. That's something to actually write home about, you know? That means something. And then it was like, okay, well, what about after the match? Huh? What about after the match? And I had this as my number 1 until we talked about Bianca Belair earlier in the episode, where it's like Bianca kind of fell off a cliff after SummerSlam. It's not her fault. It's the booking of WWE's fault. They booked her like shit. She main evented WrestleMania and fucking won WrestleMania. Her family at ringside, her dad damn near jumping and falling on his ass over the railing to just show how much jubilation they had, and they were representative of the same type of folks that they wanted to get the reaction of at home. They wanted folks that look like her and folks that look like her family to react the way her family did, and they did.
And 5 months later,
That shit. The same way how Kofi Mania happened, and 5 months later, well, however many months, the same thing, Big E, but 4 months later, like, bro, are y'all actually gonna run with this shit at some point? Are you really gonna do this, or it's just symbolic victories? Like, oh yeah, we'll get the black something. Are you
Lashley the exception? He just lasted a little bit longer, but in the
a
end,
little bit longer in the end?
and he's at the come up again. Who doesn't want to see Brock and Bobby?
Yeah. And even then, okay, you say that Sasha's still kind of, up there. Okay, cool. Sasha's still up there, but then she gets hurt. And Bianca, what's your excuse for Bianca? Bianca should have been the new hotness that put in new life into the division. Instead, we're still fucking around with Charlotte. We're retreading a heel Becky for some reason and don't know why. And like you have people cheering for Liv Morgan, but you're ignoring her and not actually giving her the push that the people actually want. When you could have had those same people that are behind Liv Morgan further behind Bianca Belair, but you didn't fucking do it. So yeah, this was my number one. This was my number one until about an hour and a half ago. I had to knock it down to 2.
So what's your number one?
My number one is Cowboy shit, man. God damn it, you do get a blue ribbon for doing the right thing. You did the right thing. The right thing was giving it to fucking Hangman. And Hangman won it convincingly in a way that I didn't actually see coming. And what I mean is not who won, the way it happened, where Nick, or was it Matt? Both of them looked up and gave the nod. What? Hold on. I knew for sure that when the Bucks came out, that the Bucks were going to do some sort of shenanigans and cost Hangman the match, or accidentally cost Kenny the match. But no, they did no such thing. They just went out and gave the nod. I did not expect that at all. At all. So yeah, in between the bells, I think this is better than the girls match. Not better than Dragunov, and not better than the Zack Sabre Jr. match, but it was damn good. You do have a little bit of a point where they didn't technically focus on a body part or something like that, but regardless, I think this is at a 10 as far as the in-ring goes, but the story leading up, the 3 years build, and I get what you're saying, and I agree with you that, yeah, when you look at just in between the bells, you're not looking at the fucking him riding in on a horse in the dock order running through the causeway. We're not looking at the this and that. Cool. I get it. But those are two separate things. Yes, in between the bells, I say I'm already at a 10. Outside of the bells, what happened? Outside of the bells, I love the build. I love the video before. I love the cowboy shit promo. And I love the what happened after. What happened after is this pretty much effectively kayfabe-wise set Kenny Omega packing. And it set Hangman to actually be a good fucking champ. I thought that he was going to be a champ, and I was like, well, this is going to be a shitty little reign, whatever. This is going to be, just a bullshit title run. No, he's doing pretty good. The matches that he's had with D-Bry, or B-Dry, whatever.
Dragon.
Yes, American Dragon. Those 2 matches, fucking phenomenal. I am behind. I am 100% behind Adam Page, which I wasn't before. I never was, but now I am. Why? Because of this match and everything that came after it. So going into the match, the first 3 quarters of the year, great fucking title reign with Kenny Omega. The last quarter of the year, coming out of it, great fucking title reign with Hangman. That's my number one.
Hector, what's your number one?
Omega, Hangman.
Damn!
Here's the thing, and just to piggyback off of what you said,
Mm-hmm.
you did not like Hangman.
Right.
That was the exact same way that you felt about Jay White. And
Yes.
It just so happened that 2021 changed your mind on both.
That's the same way I felt about Andrade back before him and Drew had that title match. I changed my mind on Andrade just like that from that one match.
Yep. So going with this match, you were right. They did not pick apart a body part. But Hangman in that match adapted to Omega. Because it got to a point in the match where Omega was hitting him with the V-triggers.
Mm-hmm.
And Hangman told him, is that the fucking best you got?
He ate a lot of that shit.
He did.
Omega tried the one-wing angel.
Hangman did a one-winged angel.
Escaped and did the one-wing angel on him, which has never been done before. And then the story-wise of Bill before the match of him losing the opportunity to go challenge. His wife become pregnant. That was the time he took off. BTE-wise, which, like you said, they should put some of that content on the show to further the story. BTE-wise, the reason why they lost that match because Hangman was not ready to take that position of being the focal point. And it was shown because he was pushed into that position by the Dark Order. And he told him, I'm not ready. Why'd you do that? When they lost, he left a videotape of the Dark Order saying, when I come back, I'll come back the way you want me to. Which he did. Confident. That's what they wanted him to do. Be confident. When he came back, did what he did, won that ladder match, came back, did that promo that fixed what you thought was wrong. Just one promo. Came back during that match, did the storytelling of him adapting, going up to Omega's level and actually beating him, but at the same time gathering the whole story part of when the Bucks didn't have his corner, when the Elite was turning his back on him. He managed to get the acceptance of the Bucks, which are Kenny's partners, beat Omega, set up the story to further after that of the Bucks and Omega having a feud. Him having the story after that also of Omega wasn't able to beat Bryan.
Right.
Hangman, first try, took him to the limit, didn't win. Second try, he beat him.
Yeah.
Something that he has over Omega, you couldn't beat that guy, but I did.
Yeah.
Furthering the story later
less
on.
than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Or less than an hour. Yeah.
And furthering the story of I did it before you, I did it, I did everything that you couldn't. And I'm still the champion here. Hopefully when he comes back, that's what it is. You took everything from me. You broke me down. Now I need to prove myself to you. This is why they call me the Bot Machine.
Yeah.
So you have all of that playing towards the future that AEW is constantly filling on right now.
Yeah, and the seed
And that
of
not even,
dissension
and
with
that,
the Bucks.
and that might not even be the primary thing because
Yeah.
it might be fucking Paragon against the Elite.
Who's
Yeah.
Paragon?
Oh, that's it. Well, before it's wall breaking, they're filed a trademark for Paragon. That's going to be the new name of Adam Cole and the Red Dragon.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
They want to call him that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's not official yet, but it's down the pipe.
Yeah.
So you see, out of all these matches, this one had the build-up, had the match to show it, and has the momentum and the material to further the storyline, to keep you thinking of, hey, this is on the back burner. They're acknowledging it little by little when everything comes into play, and you're gonna be hyped up of this was a match a while ago, and he was injured. Imagine when he's fully rested and he's the official Bot Machine coming back and testing him out. Let's see where I left you on.
Yeah.
So
Now, Chris, why are me and Hector wrong?
It's not that you're wrong.
You don't have the same pick as number one.
There's no such thing as wrong mistakes. There's just alternate reality.
Oh yes. Multiverse of madness over here.
Copyright.
Fucking Doctor Strange, Chris. Doctor Strange love.
I think Arnold will probably be the first one to tell you that you're losing sight on what the match of the year is. Primarily, the match of the year should be based basically on Bell to Bell. Arnold never.
No, he's wrong.
No,
I've always said that.
I know, yeah, and Arnold's always been against that.
I know.
But you yourself said that between the bells, the best match on here was Ilya and fucking Walter.
Yeah.
There aren't that many good sequels. There aren't that many Spider-Man 2s or RoboCop 2s. You know, HBK Taker 2 tried too hard to copy Part 1. This does not feel like a carbon copy of their first match at all. This is a progression of the story of, like I mentioned earlier, Batman and Bane. And between the bells, the reaction from people in the crowd kind of accentuated what was missing in the first match of watching someone react to it, other than hearing ourselves moan and groan about it when we're watching it live or after the fact when we're watching the video. Yeah. And it was fucking brutal. It lived up to whatever expectations the first one left. But it's not like it paralleled it. It went completely different direction and wound up going the same distance that the first one did. Just like I mentioned earlier with the women's match, these two matches, they have weight and just by a couple of ounces more. For me, either the excitement of Dragunov Ilya or the predetermination of my opinion that I already knew Hangman was winning this, and in between the bells, it wasn't as fast paced. It wasn't as bang bang. It wasn't as, I don't want to say as seamless, but you watch both of those matches between the bells, one is better than the other for me, and it's Dante Dragunov.
That's your number one?
That's my number one.
Oh, shit.
However, here's the total.
Yeah, you already did the math.
In fourth place.
In fourth place. This is
with all 3 points, Zack Sabre and Will Ospreay. Third place, 7 points, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair.
Oh.
Second place, 9 points, Dragunov, Walter.
Oh.
Our winner, the one, number one, 11 points. Hangman, Adam Page, The Cleaner, Best Bob Machine, Japanese Wrestler Fetish, Kenny Omega, depending on your ass.
From North Carolina.
Yeah, that's our pick.
That's our pick. That's our match of the year pick. Hangman beating Kenny Omega at Full Gear. Holy shit.
So let me run this down real quick, New Japan style.
All right.
2021, the year of cowboy shit.
Cowboy shit.
2013, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar. 2014, Sami Zayn versus Cesaro. 2015, Phoenix versus Mil Muertes. 16, Cena versus AJ Styles. 17, Omega versus Okada. 18, Gargano Ciampa. 19, Ospreay Shingo. Last year, Omega Pac. 30 minutes. 2021, Omega Page.
Now this
is the third match for Omega.
And this is the second year in a row that Walter Dragunov comes in second place.
Yep.
Always the bridesmaid, never the fucking bride.
Well, don't tell Dragunov, he got married.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So he'll suffer the fate y'all
And Walter's getting out of his.
Yeah, Walter's retiring.
No.
No?
He's divorcing.
Oh.
Ginny?
Yeah, well, he had a wife. He divorced her. And
now he's with Ginny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Good for him. Okay. All right. So that's the end of 2021.
Wow.
Who are we looking for in 2022? Who are your prospects? Who are your rising stars? Who do you think is going to dominate the talk or the action of 2022?
MJF. MJF is going to do something here with this feud with Punk. And then after that, he is going to have a rocket strapped to him. He's going to be the heel, not the face, the heel of AEW.
Can I spoil 2022 for you?
Sure. Mr. Nostradamus.
Write this down.
Write it down. Record it on YouTube where it lives forever.
Hangman is going to drop the belt to MJF.
Oh, hot take.
That feud's been there since the beginning of the brand.
Yep. Okay.
MJF will hold it for about 2 months. And in the next event, we'll be dropping it to Wardlow.
Oh!
That is my 2022. If there are people from AEW that you want to keep your eye on, after that match with Punk, match of the week candidate, if we're going 2022 already.
Yeah.
Punk and Wardlow's going to be that. He's going to have that Batista pop.
Yeah.
Like when Batista turned on Evolution and went for his own. Just wait for it. We joked about it earlier. Hook. He's got.
Hook's good, man.
He has what old school people call it.
He does.
You can't pinpoint it, but you just know it's there when you see it. And bro, again, that's another one of I don't know how the fuck this dude was monsterly over from his debut. Because he got a fucking reaction in his debut, and I have no idea why, other than him just being there as like the silent fourth. But he can go, man. I want to see that.
He's the one cool guy hanging out in the strip club.
Yep. Yeah. That first check from first month's merch check. Shit.
What do you got, Hector?
Give us some.
What are we looking forward to? Who are we looking forward to in 2022?
It's weird because I wouldn't even say this. Keep your eye on Daniel Garcia.
He's on this list.
Okay.
On my list.
Okay.
Daniel Garcia.
Keep an eye on Daniel Garcia. He's having a showcase for the regular audience on AEW. But he is doing fucking. He is becoming the spitting image of Zack Sabre Jr. in the American version and NJPW of Strong.
Didn't in some indie match last year or some indie fed last year, he fought Suzuki.
Yes.
I need to go back and watch
Yeah,
that.
it was that time that he was did he recently
Because Suzuki was toured over here and he fought Bryan, and that week he had that match with Daniel Garcia.
And Daniel Garcia at that time in AEW had a match, I don't know if it was with Bryan or with Punk at the same time, because I remember seeing a video of him saying, "This is the biggest week of my career."
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got
him on my list.
Keep your eye on Daniel Garcia.
Another thing I'm really, really looking forward to as far as like who, and we mentioned him already, Danhausen. All this teasing about him maybe coming to AEW or not or whatever, like, yeah, it's all well and good, and I'm enjoying the tease. Sometimes you just gotta have a little bit of a tease before you really, you know? But at some point, Danhausen's gonna get signed. He's gonna be on TV in a major capacity, and I'm really interested to see what he's actually gonna do. Because much like Orange Cassidy, I had my doubts about, okay, he's fun to look at, funny for the backstage stuff, and he's got a good character, but that's never going to work in the ring. But Orange is kind of working in the ring.
I see Danhausen with the Dark Order.
Okay.
And him growing.
I don't.
Because I don't know what a Danhausen is. I've seen a couple of these Twitters and Instagram videos, but I've never seen the kid wrestle. I don't know what he is. I still don't know what his character is.
I want to know what he is.
He needs a coming out / fleshing out party so that everyone that watches wrestling that doesn't know what he is and stops going to A&W to watch main events to find out what the fuck a Danhausen is, because I still don't know what the fuck a Danhausen is.
ROH, I've watched a couple of his matches, but he's a little bit more of the reading the rules and getting around them. For the point, like I said earlier before we recorded, to the point where Jim Cornette is praising this guy, and you know how anal Jim Cornette is.
Mm-hmm.
For him to say this guy is smart because, for example, one of his moves is grabbing a bag instead of you. Whenever we see a bag in wrestling, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Thumbtacks.
He has teeth.
What?
Teeth? Yes. So in his opponent, he shoves teeth down his throat.
Mm-hmm.
And then gets him either in a headlock or gets ready to do the GTS.
Okay.
The way around that is he's using a weapon, but at the same time it's not considered a weapon because people have teeth in their mouth.
What the fuck? But it's your own teeth, not somebody else's teeth. Okay.
It's like Bianca Belair. She doesn't get the
Because it's a hair whip. It's hell. Well, so your real hair is a fucking weave. Yeah, I get it.
Who knows? Maybe she grew up with that hair.
No, she didn't.
So yeah,
that's a weave. That's unbelievable. Okay. What else?
EJ and Duque from MLW. He was a prospect in NXT. From what I've seen so far of him, he's got a fuck ton of potential. A lot. Is he gonna find it, or is he gonna profit from it in MLW? Maybe. Mm-hmm. But he's one of the reasons why I've been somewhat still watching it. Mm-hmm. As opposed to main roster shit, you know?
Yeah.
Ron Breaker and Carmelo Hayes for the 2.0,
Okay.
especially Carmelo, because Carmelo. It's one thing if you're wrestling with the school of people that are just going through the PC, but when he had that title unification match against Roderick Strong on New Year's Eve, he opened my eyes. Like, this kid he can go with anybody. You can see Carmelo and Adam Cole, and I'm sure they can knock out a 4-star banger. Or he can go into the ring with the rookie whip behind the ears and make that guy look like he belongs on that brand with a paycheck. So what I've seen so far, Carmelo and his sidekick Trick, they work well together. It doesn't have to be a package deal, but Carmelo on his own, that's somebody you would want to pay money to see. Mm-hmm. So especially if you want to make something of NXT 2.0, you're gonna have to meet people that can become those pillars.
Yeah,
Carmelo and Braun are definitely two of them.
Two more things that might be interconnected, but not sure. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with, or what's going to become of Strowman, Fiend, and any of the other more high-profile WWE releases.
EC3 is establishing some kind of like inter-promotional stable, and he's got Titan with him, which is Strowman.
And what's it today? The guy from Forgotten Sons.
Oh, Wesley Blake.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what happens with these folks. But also, and this is why I say it's two things that might be interconnected, is what happens with ROH. You know, does ROH actually stay alive, and some of these people that were released, they find a home there and they fucking build it up, and now all of a sudden we have a fourth major promotion, you know, besides Impact, AEW, WWE, or is ROH going to die? Grisham, Shane Taylor, and like some of these other people that are like homeless now, make a different federation or do something interesting or get absorbed in AEW.
Would they become the the new NWA?
Possibly.
That's what NWA used to be back in the day, right?
I mean, they could fortify NWA. They could all go to MLW, make that watchable. Right now it's not.
Right now with the whole Azteca thing, it's kind of bringing me in a little bit because it's reminiscent of Lucha Underground.
Yeah,
I haven't watched any of it yet because I'm cautiously pessimistic because Robert Rodriguez is not MLW.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you that have seen it just validated my fear that you're expecting this top-notch production by a fan of wrestling and who knows what to do behind the camera, and the lack of fundage and the lack of talent behind the camera to make that wrestling show or whatever the tribute to Lucha Underground would be as presentable or as reputable.
Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of money to make something look so shitty.
Yeah.
You know, that's where Lucha Underground was. Lucha Underground was gritty, and they looked like it was low production, but it was high production.
But it was Hollywood
production.
And it technically, and I tell people this all the time, it's a sci-fi show that just involves pro wrestling.
Yeah.
It's not a pro wrestling show.
But it's still the problem of there's too much talent out there now that don't have homes. I mean, wrestling homes, you know, that's what I mean. There's too much talent that doesn't have homes, that somebody is going to do something with them. And I kind of hope it's not the answer isn't AEW for all of them. Not because I don't want to see them thrive or I don't want to see them, you know, find success in a company that's making money, but it's because I want that company to continue to make money. And if you just keep gobbling up contracts, you're going to have a roster full of Jay Lethals, where somebody that should be a main eventer, but they're not. Because I kind of want to see the four pillars of AEW and maybe a fifth pillar of AEW just stay as they are and develop with the help of the other guys, the WWE guys and whatever. Nothing but ex-WWE guys just bloating up your roster. Which, I mean, it's very possible Tony Khan could do that, not show the proper restraint. Some people say he already has it. I would argue that he has by not going out and snatching EC3, Titan, Bray Wyatt, you know, not snatching them up. But I don't know.
So that kind of blends into what my prediction for 2022 is.
What's your prediction?
Sometimes people move up from the homeless shelter to the halfway house, and then from the halfway house to their actual little studio apartment, and eventually they get a home with their own name on it. In the meantime, people that are coming up to make room for people that need to find a home in general, I've got Jacob Fatu signing with AEW.
Okay.
That you want to solidify your mid card, and then possibly 3 or 4 years later have Jacob Fatu be the suicidal Samoan in the main event scene.
Yeah.
Jacob could do that for you.
Okay.
Any other predictions?
I got Bryan Danielson showing up on NJPW Strong and helping them build up that market.
Is that a win or a loss because it's on the New Japan Strong side and not New Japan over the sea into Japan, into the actual Japan? Because I think it's a downgrade that he's on Strong. It would be an upgrade if he's on the actual big monthly New Japan shows,
but
not the weekly.
I feel that
I don't even watch Strong.
yeah,
Most of us don't.
me either. I've watched it a couple of times, especially with Filthy Tom Lawler. His matches kind of caught my attention there. But I feel that NJPW is going to start building up Strong to the point where they're going to have that title be the one that would kind of go into like how ROH used to have their title matches in Wrestle Kingdom. They're going to build up that title enough to the point where, because that'll be New Japan's entry into the U.S. now. They don't have to depend on quarantining their main roster. They have an American roster that has built up, and every now and then we'll send the guy over there to help you build it.
Like Suzuki.
Like Jay White.
Or Jay White.
Yeah. He's currently over here. So getting to the point where you have, if they end up having a better working relationship, having Bryan Danielson build him up here, and then that'll be Danielson's gateway of, we want you get the title, defend it in Wrestle Kingdom, and that'll be another thing win for it. AEW building up on their AAA connection, bringing more talent in that aspect of, you don't have to stay here, but defend your titles here. Let's bring some attention to it. The same way that they have those connections. The same thing I'm pretty sure they're going to do with Ring of Honor when it comes back, since they allowed FTR to go in there and build them up. That way, ROH has a way to bring people in of, hey, this is how it ended, final battle. Here's where we're picking it up. That'll be something for the crowd to be like, hey, I forgot about that. We got something.
I got a prediction. These two guys are going to be our rising stars in 2022. Shane Taylor, Jonathan Gresham. These two are going to blow up in 2022. Whether it's in ROH or them going to Impact or getting signed with AEW, I don't know. But they're going to land on their feet. Whatever happens to ROH. Yeah, but
Gresham has a whole delicious menu in New Japan. Either side of New Japan, US or
him and Jonah.
Yeah.
Match right there.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it a brand split situation, but if AEW keeps signing mofos, they're gonna probably make Rampage a weekly live 2-hour show.
Yep.
Yeah, because they already have planted those seeds with having the TBS title and the women's title, and then you have the TNT title and the men's heavyweight title. So that's ripe for the pickings to have like 2 on one and then 2 on the other. I mean, one's the TNT, so they as well have it on the TNT show. The other is the TBS, they as well have it on the TBS show, and they're only showcasing defended on those shows. They already have that established there.
And with this year, I'm hoping it evolves. The introduction of different brands into WWE. We're getting it right now with Knockouts being introduced in the Rumble.
Yeah, the Forbidden Door is revolving in WWE's side apparently.
Well, let's slip into that. We're going into what's going on in 2022 so far.
Slip it in,
Mickey James, Knockouts champ, has been announced in the Royal Rumble. Instead of enjoying the moment that Mickey James is going to come out to her theme with the Impact title down the WWE ramp in a WWE ring on a WWE premium live event on the cock, we're already going to who else is there going to be?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for opening the door. We want that guy over there.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a rumor because they kind of already like teased that themselves. That it's not just Mickey James, but somebody on the guy side that they're going to try to do that too, right?
Who would you want on the guy's side? Who could benefit from this? From the guy side.
Who could benefit or who could benefit WWE? That's different, right? Because you can bring in Sammy Guevara, and that's great for Sammy Guevara, but WWE is not going to get anything out of that, right? Or will they?
That's the point.
Well, I feel like they're already getting a lot from having the now reputation that, oh shit, they're going to bring actually more people from other promotions in the Royal Rumble. It's not the first time they've done it. Not in the Rumble. I mean, they brought Jushin Liger in for Takeover. In the '90s, they had Mil Mascaras and some Cibernetico from AAA in there. Psychosis. So it has been done. It's been a long time since it's been done, but it doesn't.
I went, who?
Trent Sever.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Jericho. Jericho is the biggest name, WWE name, that they could just grab and throw out of the Rumble real quick.
And I know.
If he comes out with Judas,
yeah,
I would like that.
Yeah.
But
that seems like a Vince move to do.
The allure isn't, oh my God, Mickey James is in the Rumble. The allure is, oh my God, Impact World Champion is in the Rumble. So it won't blow my socks off if Daniel Bryan or CM Punk or Chris Jericho or Christian Cage or W Morrissey or Rich Swann or Matt Cardona, Miro. That's not gonna float my boat. I need something with substance.
Look at Cage, Brian Cage.
What if it's Sammy? Sammy shows up with a TNT belt.
What if it's Moose?
Okay.
There's already beef on Twitter that Moose is better than Roman Reigns.
I mean, we do keep trying to jump into the AEW pool, but you're right. It's probably more likely going to be somebody from the Impact pool because Impact has seemed to be the one that's like, yeah, everybody come to my house and have a good time. Yeah. You know, they're the ones that the Forbidden Door is almost the hub of the Forbidden Door is AEW, or excuse me, Impact. Yeah. Like AEW is borrowing and working with Impact. New Japan is borrowing and working with Impact. Fucking ROH, same thing. AAA, same thing. It's like Impact is the fucking hub.
What if it's your boy, Jay White?
Ooh, could be.
Now that a new face that's new to the company.
I don't see WWE doing that.
He hasn't gone back to Japan, and he hasn't showed up on New Japan Strong since he lost the title.
Impact keeps promoting him as Bullet Club, but I don't think they've promoted him as New Japan.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that they're going to pull that. The reason why I don't think they're going to pull that is because it does nothing for WWE in WWE's eyes. Because this is going to...
Unless if they're trying to get him.
That's the thing. I don't think it's going to be somebody that, we brought him in for the Rumble and now he's part of the roster. I think it's going to be...
James isn't going to be part of the roster.
Exactly.
It's going to be that. Like, here's the thing. Like, you know how you go do an interview and they tell you, well, this is where you were likely work. This is here. They show you areas.
Yeah.
And try to hire you. Same thing. Let me give you a sample.
I understand that. I think you're wrong on that premise. I think WWE is trying to do a cash grab, a splash, a ratings boost, right? Jay White isn't going to be the ratings boost. If they put Jay White in there, it's going to be more for Jay White than it is for WWE. That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be like Jericho or Cody or fucking Miro or somebody that they had before, like, hey, I remember that guy, that kind of thing.
Okay, how about this? Royal Rumble. We have after like 2 or 3 at like number 9 and at number 9, Nakamura and AJ Styles are the only two in the ring. And then the coins start hitting on the floor. And you get New Japan World Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Being a champion that Nakamura, AJ Styles, and their Brock Lesnar has also been.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to acknowledge that belt's existence.
Right. Yeah.
So why not? And they're not.
Why not?
They're not afraid to establish the existence between Nakamura and Styles in their past.
That's a great thing.
AJ has been. Yeah. So why not? Look at that.
Oh man.
Okada Kazuchika.
Sweet.
Yeah, like you just have a heart attack. You just like.
That'd be so good.
That would boost WWE's image in hardcore fans.
The person that comes after him, who enters the ring, Randy Orton.
Oh,
Orton and Okada in the same ring.
Well, here's the thing.
This is why I like the Rumble so much, even when I'm anti WWE.
Well, here's the smart thing about what WWE is doing right now. bringing attention. The knockouts is bringing attention because, let's be honest, the fan base is kind of stale.
Yeah.
New blood. Build it up, build it up, build it up. I feel that by the end of this year, WWE will be sold.
Oh.
Yeah. That's part of having their value up in the court of public opinion.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why there was no more Forbidden Door, according to the rumors.
Okay.
What's the best way to raise your value up if you're not getting what you want from your fan base?
Same
right
thing
now?
every other brand is doing to raise their value.
Bring in people to bring in attention.
Yep.
All of a sudden now WWE is gonna try to piggyback of Impact talent. Why not fucking do it with everybody else?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, boost the Japan buys of the fucking the premium Snapchat events, whatever they call it.
Any heartbreaking releases from the last batch? Road Dogg, Regal, Samoa Joe, among others.
No, the last batch of releases, hell, the releases right before the last batch, when it wasn't even a release, when it was Tony Storm. I thought this is where I changed my mind, and this might be just because the last half of the year I've been so WWE, where I'm thinking if you're getting released for the WWE, it's actually a good thing. I'm actually happy for you that you're getting released for the WWE.
Hell, right now, today, we found out what?
Mustafa's
trying to get out.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa.
I learned that the hard way.
Yes. Mustafa.
Roman caught COVID, Lesnar caught the WWE title. What y'all think about all that?
That's some bullshit. I don't care. It took it off of Big E, and I don't mind that Brock has the title, right? Because at some point, Brock is always going to have the title. But taking it off of Big E was a lot different than taking it off of Roman. Because with Roman, it was established, it was a feud, they were going to do a thing. I'm sure they could play hot potato back and forth with the title. But Big E just going in there and just getting squashed the same way like Kofi and like just giving the title to Brock. Like, that's some bullshit. Like, this could have been a very easy way for Big E to retain his title by having somebody else that's not involved with all that just take a pin that wouldn't have hurt as much. It was a fucking 5-way. Yeah, it would have been okay. But no, Brock had to go in there and not pin somebody else, had to pin the champ. Man, that's some bullshit.
I have an optimistic hot take.
Okay.
Go for it. I feel that I don't even know if it's going to be this year, but at some point, Brock is going to pay it off. And the way he's going to pay it off is if he has a title. The way Brock is now, that he's willing to give back towards the company.
I'm not used to this Brock at all.
Yeah, me either. But I'm hoping like this is a fan kind of view of me on this. I'm hoping Brock, if he has a title, he drops it to Woods. And the way he does it is before the bell rings, Kofi and Big E attack him. Bring him down and have
Woodsy win.
Have Xavier win.
Oh my god. And then he could take the title to G4. Have you been watching any of his stuff on G4? Have you been watching the new Attack of the Show?
A little bit.
I have.
Oh
Attack
my
of the
god.
Show is just as dumb as ever. God damn it. You lose brain cells every time I watch it.
So they had
It's wonderful.
They had a WWE Invades Attack of the Show.
Yeah.
And they did a fucking like
Is that the dad challenge?
The dad challenge.
The dad jump challenge with
And
Cesaro?
Cesaro murdered everyone. Everyone. Oh, so you're not a real dad, so I'm sorry, that jump is a faux pas. Oh, shit. It's like, you talked about this vampire story, and I kept thinking to myself, man, I always hear about these vampire stories in London and in England, but I don't ever hear vampire stories from South Africa, and then it just hit me why. And do you know why? And I was like, no. They're like, because they blessed the rain down in Africa.
You just see Xavier in the background like,
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Fuck.
Was Phoenix's arm injury the worst in the past 10 years?
Worst looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked terrible. But luckily, it was just a dislocation. So thank goodness that he is all right. But God, it looked ugly. Fuck, it looked bad.
Y'all talk about that for a few seconds. I need to hit the head. This goes a lot longer than
Well, it's your fault. You wanted to keep talking about this year when we were done. This is a review for last year, bitch.
I'm gonna have to hold a stick on that because I'm not following.
Well, we may as well try to end the show then, man. We all gotta fucking go take a shit.
Nah, take a leak.
Well, whatever. All right. So yeah, do you have anything else to add about the arm injury that Ray Phoenix had?
Man, that shit looked brutal. It did. But it's weird because he looked like he was trying to soften his landing, but he forgot to put his hand.
Yeah, he tried to
He tried
catch
to do his
himself.
arm.
Yeah, he tried to catch himself. What you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to put your arms down. You're supposed to put them out and distribute the impact all across your body, which is, I had a couple of my, wrestler friends on Facebook saying how, yeah, he did a fucking rookie mistake, throwing down your arm. And that's what fucked him up. Luckily, he only came away with just the dislocation, but it could have been a lot worse. Which Sebi, one of our wrestlers, that was exactly what happened to him. Why he had been out. He broke his wrist right here and here. We saw the little triangle piece kind of sticking up from underneath the skin. It was he threw a drop kick and he tried to, when he fell down, try to brace his hand, and that's what did it. So the exact same thing. You don't try to brace yourself when you're trying to land in a backbone.
Now I just remember the brutal injury. It wasn't really an injury because they exposed what happened after. But the brutal stuff that I saw before that one was the Kenta Tanahashi match. Especially when Kenta was on top of that ladder and fucking Tanahashi was just like trying to push him to the side.
Yeah.
But he had those flimsy ladders and when you push the freaking thing just stayed up there. So every time he pulled back, the freaking ladder just went that way.
Oh shit.
It got to the point that it looked like the spot was supposed to be Kenta falling and hitting the ropes. He did not reach the ropes. There was a garbage can there and he hit face first.
Oh,
and then got busted on his face. I was like, damn. But yeah, that would have to be it.
Chris, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, we still got plenty.
Are you serious?
All right.
Yeah.
God damn it.
You know these end of the years take a long
But we're done talking about 2021. What the hell?
Saudi gets the chamber in February. BYOB.
What's the B? Bring your own
Bone saw.
bone saw? Why bone saw?
That's what they used to kill their journalist, Khashoggi.
Oh,
Chamber.
all right.
What do you think? We're not making up a random pay-per-view that means nothing in the timeline of WWE, and we're actually sticking to it's an actual WWE pay-per-view.
Behold my baron of fucks and see that it is bare.
What did they call it? WrestleMania Chamber.
Behold my field of fucks and see that it is bare. God damn. Like, no, man, I don't care. Like, Jesus Christ. The fucking Saudi shit has been so stupid that I don't even care anymore, man. Like, I haven't been watching WWE, and the fact that they're going back to Saudi for an elimination chamber style match pay-per-view, that makes me further not want to watch it.
But I choose to not speak about that.
Fine. We're a couple of weeks in, and we have a fresh match of the year board.
Yes.
Are there any match of the weeks or anything that is up for consideration or for nomination? What have you seen in the last few weeks of professional wrestling that you liked a lot?
Honestly, New Japan guy.
Mm-hmm. Wrestle Kingdom just happened, yeah.
Wrestle Kingdom.
The first two nights.
Well,
Actually, all three nights already happened.
Night one, I liked the Desperado Takahashi match. Story wise, there was some build up there. Same thing. Takahashi dropped the belt, got injured. Desperado picked it up. Desperado has always had a feud with Takahashi, and the fact that Takahashi has been the face of the junior division since Kushida left.
Mm-hmm.
And Desperado has never been able to beat him, even to the point that before this match, in their grudge match, Desperado took off his mask and fought him with just face paint, kind of like how Liger did.
Liger, yeah.
And he still didn't beat him on that match. And on this match, he finally beat him straight up. So that was an accomplishment of him of being like, all right, you were the face of it. Now it's my turn to pick up the belt and run with it. So that was my highlight for night one. Night two, I haven't finished it, but so far I got Naito and Cobb on that one. It was entertaining.
That was good. Match of the year worthy, or just like matches of the nights, or whatever.
Matches of the night so far, because I still need to finish night two.
I kind of feel the same way with you about a particular match, and we just talked about it. Is Lucha Brothers versus the Jurassic Express. If it wasn't for Rey Fenix almost breaking his arm, because it wasn't like a botch that they recovered. It was a fucking botch, and it looked ugly. It looked really bad. If it wasn't for that, I'd be like, man, that's my match of the week. That was a fucking badass match. But that injury, no, it just completely took me out of it. Completely. But it was a good ass fucking match.
Would it go over?
If we're talking AEW, my pick for the weeks is fucking Hangman and Danielson Part 2.
When was that?
That was the first match of the new year on TBS.
Yeah. That was on
Part 2.
That was on the 31st, right?
No. The second match was on TBS.
That was on the 6th. On the 6th.
Yeah.
Oh, January 6th.
Yeah.
Fifth? No. Well, whatever. It's in the new year, right?
It's in the new year.
Okay.
And there was a winner. It only took 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was a better story. He beat him good. Yeah.
Honestly, if we're gonna put something in
we're doing the categories like we did last
year,
that I would definitely play.
Okay, you may as well put it on there. I mean, it's early enough in the year that I don't have to say, oh man, it's got to be the best match ever. Like so far this year, it is the best match from AEW. So fuck it, put it on the list. That's the standard bearer.
Are we still doing what we did?
Yeah.
That's the next question. I would say yes. I kind of like this format because it's less for us to watch at the end of the year, and as long as we actually keep up with it throughout the year, we're going to be okay. I feel kind of bad that we never had one from the rest because I'm sure there was some shit from Impact that was good enough, or maybe from some other promotion.
If we were to find it online and get us to watch it before we record the next episode, because it happened this year, I think my match of the night from Hard to Kill was Jonah versus Josh Alexander.
Okay.
That match was really good. Better by a hair. Better than Gresham and Shelley.
That's what I was going to say.
Better than the X Division women's match, the Ultimate X. Yeah.
And I think that this year, the rest department is going to be a little bit more important because of what's going on with ROH. Yeah. You're going to have ROH guys trying to prove themselves for a paycheck in places that aren't ROH. So, yeah, we really need to keep our ear to the ground when it comes to the independents and see if there's something out there that's a fucking barn burner of a match that just isn't on one of the main, four.
We saw Braun Breaker versus Tommaso Ciampa, New Year's Evil.
Yes, that was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Match of the week candidate?
For that week, yeah, sure. It's not going to be anything more than that, but
That's what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. You saw the renewed rivalry of the Usos and New Day open day one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I liked it. It was one of the better ends of the spectrum of New Day and Usos. I wouldn't say it was the best New Day Usos match, but it's like if you have a fucking chart of all the Uso New Day matches, all 52 of them, you're gonna have some that suck, some that are great, and some that are like, okay, whatever. You're gonna have a fucking bell curve. This is kind of in the middle of that bell curve somewhere. Right? It's not the best one, it's not the worst one, it's not the longest, shortest, most important, whatever. But it was good little match.
I mentioned it earlier. It deserves a bit of a nomination at least. Wardlow and Punk. That's a way to build that. That's a way to build Wardlow as a heavy. And that Bret Hart Diesel tribute at the end was chef's kiss. It was awesome.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. For the 21st century, Wardlow had a power bomb like 9 times.
Yeah.
Punk to sell all that. And by like the 5th one, Punk was looking like he was in the ring with Ryback. Like,
Yeah.
but it's still like it proved its point. Like Wardlow could beat him. And if it went for MJF, he probably would have beat him. So, but that's it. We got one match already.
Consideration wise, you wouldn't consider the day one Fatal Five-Way?
I would have to rewatch it again, but my biggest gripe is the obvious one. Out of all the wrestlers in the ring, I hated that Big E was the one that took the fall.
Yeah.
Seth has a title match against Roman at fucking Royal Rumble. Lashley's facing Brock at Royal Rumble. For all the Kevin Owens fans, I'm sorry, but he's pretty much inconsequential. He should have been the one to take the pin. For Big E to take the pin clean, kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
So
there are positives though in that match.
But the thing is that the reason why I say that is because I know a lot of people watch that match and they consider that to be a good match. Well, a great match for WWE.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, when I saw that match and then I saw Monday Night Raw's match that followed that one up for the number one contendership, I feel that the Monday Night Raw one was a lot better than that one.
Who was in that match?
The other four.
The other four.
Oh.
And they had more time to tell somewhat of a story because on the day one match, they had...
The day one story was awful. It's every Brock Lesnar multi-man match. He gets buried by everyone else, and he's on in the sideline for most of the match. And then towards the end, he wakes up like nothing happened and beats the shit out of everybody and wins the fucking match. Mm-hmm. I got tired of that. That's my bigger nit to pick than Big E being the one to take the pinfall. That's typical bullshit Brock Lesnar crap. When you look in the ring and see that Bobby Lashley is literally and with MMA background just as intimidating as Brock, but you don't do the same thing for him, it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see let's fucking just get rid of all the bullshit and have Lashley and Lesnar just go.
You'll see it in 2 weeks.
Okay. Are you sure it's gonna be a no bullshit match?
I'm cautiously optimistic because the only thing that came out positive of that day one main event, Lashley speared Roman through the barricade in the fans. Lashley speared Brock in the ring from behind. Lashley put Brock in the hurt lock, and Brock was passing out. It took Big E breaking that. So Lashley looked indomitable to Roman. And hopefully they continue that. But man, that promo when Roman buried Lashley, fuck, dude. Brock, the human with a soul possession. He's like, hey, Paul, knock, knock. And Paul goes, the fuck? I'll play along. I'm not used to this. Who's there? And Brock goes, Lashley.
Lashley who?
Lashley who? Exactly. You'll never beat me because you're a wannabe of me.
Oh, wow.
Burned him.
Wow.
Beyond recognition almost. Savage. So I'm waiting for the clapback. Hopefully don't borrow the clapback from last year. But
I would like to see MVP and Heyman do a little.
They need to go at
a little back and forth.
I don't want to see
Yeah.
that.
I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
One more question.
Oh, chingo.
Just wanted to get on his skin a little bit. Friday, before WrestleMania, there's Impact, there's Ring of Honor's comeback, and there's New Japan. If you had the time to only go to one of those three shows, what would it be?
What is New Japan doing? You said Impact, Ring of Honor, and New Japan?
Mm-hmm.
I'm mostly intrigued with Ring of Honor and what they're going to do. But deep down inside, I want to go for New Japan.
Well, maybe I'll see you there.
Damn you, now I have to look and see.
If I had to choose, I would pick Ring of Honor too, just because it might be my last chance to ever go to a Super Card of Honor.
Yeah, a Super Card is actually pay-per-view. Yeah. Is there anything you want to share from your excursions in pro wrestling?
Yeah.
You have anything coming up?
Yes. This
Sunday. We're done.
I know, right? This Sunday is both DZW and UPW. Again, they're booked on the same night. Go figure. But yeah, check it out this Saturday coming up. The UPW show, which is where I'll be doing my thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to be commentary or ring announcing yet. Not too sure. But it's going to be down at Santa Fe in the Santa Fe Volunteer Fire Department. So come check that out. If you are closer to Katy, Brookshire area, go check out TZW. So yeah, that's this weekend, this Sunday. No, excuse me, Saturday.
Is that it?
That's it. Adios, my friends. Keep it classy. Happy New Year. Happy 2022.
See you in 2023.
I know, right?
We're stopping after episode 400, right?
Yeah.
So like WrestleMania review.
Sure,
that's it.
why
We're
not?
gonna take a sabbatical like Ring of Honor.
I'm sure I'm not the only one that noticed that the chat went away when they realized Omega and Hangman, Omega and Danielson wasn't fucking match of the year.
Yeah.
Bastard.